Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? It's your boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente Rag. What it do, my guy?
What's good? What's good?
You already know what it is, man. Tell them where they can find us at, Rag.
Man, look, before we do anything, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe on all social media platforms, wherever you can find us. We're at the PresX TV on all social media platforms, whether that's Facebook, whether that's IG, whether that's X. Find us at the PresX TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Put it on your page. Leave us a comment while you're watching us, wherever you're watching or listening. So whether that's on the live or the playback, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, whether that's on Amazon, whether that's on iHeartRadio, whether that's on Spotify, whether that's on YouTube and Stitcher.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, y'all go ahead, run it up. Go ahead, like this video right now, whether you're watching it live or a replay. It's a lot to get to talk about, man. We missed last week. Actually, even if we do miss a week, I think we do need to put some old episodes, you know what I'm saying?
Repost
Whether season one or two or something like that. Because we got a lot, you know what I'm saying? That
a lot for you to go back.
Yeah, a lot to go back. So honestly, if we miss a week, that'll be on me to kind of put out whether season 1, 2, or 3 or 4. You know,
and you know what, like, because I normally do it when we're on breaks. Like, I'll post, old episodes when we're on, like, our summertime break. But, I guess I could start, doing the same, just like if we miss a week or something like that, we have stuff going on. Mm-hmm. We can post those. Because, again, like, sometimes we've had videos, like, when we initially posted it, it didn't get a lot of traction, but then sometimes you might have sent me a reel or something, or you made like an old clip and we posted it, and then people went back and looked at that episode, and then I look back, I'm like, dang, okay. We done went up, quite more than what we did when we initially posted. So
no, it's like the clips and stuff. So even like the reels, we got some of the reels that we got several thousand views on reels, different reels, depending on what to talk about, depending on the topic and all that stuff. So even if we do, for whatever reason, we both busy men doing some things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, always keep something going, whether this, because there's a lot of people haven't chimed in on, because we got like over 700 subscribers now. So
right.
When we had seasons 1 and 2, we 300, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people really not probably privy to, probably the first 3 seasons or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we'll definitely probably do that. But it is a good bit to talk about. Kind of, I know you sent me some stuff here. You see the thumbnail, so it's a lot to get into. We got the NBA Finals starting up. You know what I'm saying? I think my prediction ended up right on that. I think.
No, you was actually all the way right. I want to say, because I think you had Indiana and OKC coming out.
But I wanted Minnesota.
Right.
I wanted Minnesota and New York.
Yeah. No, that's what I wanted.
Yeah. For entertainment value. You know what I'm saying? But,
Well, and I just thought, because Ant, I guess, following the same Jordan trajectory, he's been probably reached the conference finals faster than MJ did.
Sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I want to say, I think it was the last 2 years, wasn't it? Or I know for sure it was last year.
Last 2 years he made it Western Conference Finals.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, like, okay, it's your time now. You know what I mean? Hey, it might be next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have. That would definitely have been good for New York, because this is the first time in 25 years they even made it to a conference final. Yep. Last time they made it was in 2000.
2000, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right, when they lost to San Antonio in the finals.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
yeah, we can actually go and chime in on that a little bit. Like, we know the Pacers beat the Knicks, and I watch First Take. I keep up with it. I can't say I watch it regularly just because of schedules and stuff like that, but I keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? And so anybody know First Take Stephen A, he always gets to my Cowboys, and my rebuttal is always, he does it for the money, but if he looks at his own team, the Knicks, they haven't won since 1973. 96 for the Cowboys. And so, I kind of keep up with that. So I kind of took a little joy in his Knicks kind of losing, even kind of the way they did. And one of the takes that they had on the First Take that was actually asking him and Monica McNutt whether the Knicks season was a underachieve, whether they underachieve or overachieve. That was one of the things, right?
Yeah.
And so I clearly think in the totality of a season that they underachieve. You know what I'm saying? Just because they made a huge trade with Cat, and then the context of you can't. You got to look at the context of the season. You can't look at like the Grizzlies before the season, what they were projected to do. You have to go with what's going on when the season starts. And so with the Knicks, I think they had a big trade, and so they were built to beat Boston. I think we talked about that before. The reason they played with Boston like that because they matched up. They made trades. They made certain moves in order to match up with Boston and beat them. And so that's what they did. Now they underachieved because of when they actually got to play Indiana, there was a higher seed. There was up 20 in the first game. They end up, Indiana coming back and doing all that stuff. So I think it's clear that they underachieved. But obviously Stephen A. said they overachieved because
you said the Knicks overachieved?
Yeah, he said the Knicks overachieved because they weren't expected to be where they went to in the Eastern Conference Finals because of the Cavs and the Boston preseason. That Boston and the Cavs were the teams, and maybe even Milwaukee in there didn't necessarily beat. So preseason, he's right on that. But just like anything else, you got to deal with the context of the season, how it went out, how it projected. So I think it's obvious that the Knicks underachieved. You know what I'm saying, when it came to how they ended the season, given a lot of stuff. Cat, we get. I don't know if you saw Gil's Arenas talk about Cat, and they kind of got on him pretty bad.
Man, they got all types of reels on him.
Man,
his clips of the way he passing and his facial expressions, his body language is like. Yeah. I mean, which if that's the way you are, you know what I'm saying, like cool, but like to be saying, oh no, I'm not like that, but then you kind of remind me of a scary movie too. The way Sean was acting is like, oh no, I'm not gay. Like I'm sure, but he was doing all types of stuff, and it's like, okay, if that's how you really are, be that way. But like to be saying like, oh no, I'm good, but then like, it's a whole lot of Mrs. Dash on there.
It's 2025, right? So again, like you said, if that's you, you know what I mean. That's you. Now, I don't know if you saw. I think they beat the Boston Celtics in the end of the conference semifinals, and because he's from New Jersey,
right?
And so he had something to say. He was like, but he had an accent like he was New York, like, but he ain't never talked like that before. So he was trying to cater to like, I'm from New York, you know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, like so
diabolical.
It was, and so you can tell that he was trying to overstep, like, and I don't like that for him. Like Gil's Arena Gilbert was talking about his body. He said he got a bad body. He said his legs too long, his feet too big, his hips too wiggly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
that's horrible.
You know what I mean? Like, and he can't play like the whole thing. But I do think that I thought the Knicks were primed for the finals just because of how they were built. Brunson was kind of in his thing.
Right.
They made a big. Because, the Grizzlies was trying to get both of the casters on the Knicks now, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. You know what I mean? So the Grizzlies was trying to get both of those to be our three-man. And so the Knicks got both. And so they were supposed to be ahead of the curve, kind of what's going on. But I do think they overachieved. And I do think the Pacers and the OKC Thunder will be – I think it'll be a more interesting final than people are giving. I think OKC will eventually win it.
Right.
But I think it's going to be way more entertaining what people are kind of getting the credit for.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be good regardless. And I do like parity. I mean, I don't get it twisted. I mean, it's good when every once in a while, you need the Lakers to win. You need Boston to win. You need, now I guess Miami, is a market. You need them to win. It's good when Dallas team wins or, hell, my Bulls ain't been in it in a minute, but it was good when, because that's I would say maybe you got the 1A, 1Bs, and then like Chicago is probably like a high 2A market,
they're gonna come back
for media, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Because even on the cable, they have a whole channel on the cable, the WGN channel, that's the Chicago channel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Grew up on that.
Right, and it's like, so, you need those markets to win. But like when you got all these teams, it's no fun for the rest of everybody else when it's only the top 6 markets that's always winning. You know, and one of the flack that I think the older teams in the 60s, like the Celtics got, is that like it wasn't nothing but 16 teams, y'all playing the same teams 8-9 times a year, and so it's no fun when it's Boston, you know, or LA dominating it, and basically everybody else is just here for the ride. And it kind of devalues, you know, your championship, because it's like, okay, well, y'all are loaded, number one, and then we know it's gonna be one of y'all. So like, why are we playing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's good when you got 32 teams, and not saying that all 32 teams are gonna get one within 32 years. You know what I'm saying? But just the idea that it's possible that we can, you know, your fan base has hope.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, hell, I would say if you look at the time that the Grizzlies were in Vancouver versus since they've been in, it's been way more successful. You know what I'm saying? They had to get out of Vancouver because it wasn't successful at the time.
Right.
And so you need those smaller market teams, but Indiana is a basketball city, even more so than some of those bigger market cities.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? They go crazy in Indiana over basketball. Mm-hmm. You know, like you saw how OKC was when was it Hurricane Katrina had happened, and I want to say it was New Orleans was playing in Oklahoma City, and like you saw,
Chris Paul was over there at the time.
Like those folks was, and that wasn't even a team, but they were just happy to have basketball. So you see, like, okay, it's good to have it. So I'm glad there's some parity in there, and then hopefully, you know, some of these major market teams, you know, because last year it was Boston, so you know, they'll be back. What I don't like, and I had this on there, and basketball related, not necessarily finals related, but then so after having your best season in 25 years, they fired a coach.
Yeah.
And to me, and I've said this before, that is a loser mentality. That's why y'all will always be in a dumpster. That's why y'all will never win anything as long as James Dolan is the owner. Because so I'm giving you the best that you've ever had. Yeah. And I reward you by getting rid of you. When y'all should have never they fucked up because they overpaid for Bridges. They gave up like 5 picks for him.
Yep, they did. Yep.
And they could have got him for a lot cheaper.
Yep.
They could have gotten him for a lot cheaper than what they got him for.
Yep.
Then you wouldn't have had to trade DiVincenzo because you could have used some of those picks to get Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
And you could have kept DiVincenzo.
Yep.
They made a mistake by not paying Hartenstein because Mitchell Robinson is always unhealthy.
Yeah.
So yes, his upside is amazing if he can stay healthy, but so was Greg Oden's. So was Sam Bowie. So was Ralph Sampson. We could go down. So Brad Daugherty was a number 1 overall pick, 6-time All-Star, but once his back got done, he was done.
Yeah.
So Mitchell Robinson, great upside, but like you had a guy, Hartenstein, who I didn't know was black, by the way. Like, you see, like, so his dad looked like Charlie Villanueva.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, so you can't, like, when you see it, and that's his actual dad, and when you see pictures of him when he's a kid, you can see it more. But it's like, oh, snap. That man, dad, like, okay. Dad just real extremely light skinned.
Right.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, so you got rid of Hartenstein, who you needed. You got rid of DiVincenzo, who you needed. Yep. I dare say, had they had Hartenstein and DiVincenzo and still making the move, because you still could have used the picks and Julius Randle to get Cat. You make that move, you instead of giving away 4 picks, you give like 2 because they're first rounders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hartenstein was obviously he's not a better offensive player than Cat, but he was more of a median to where you can keep him on the floor.
But he would play defense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He played
because Cat wasn't even averaging a block a game.
Yeah, he's not a defensive dude.
And so now he's long enough to kind of pester you on the wing, but if you got Hartenstein in the paint to clean up, and block shots or whatever, and then also rebound, like now that's a problem when they're playing a team like Indiana who got those bigs. Or, had they been going to play OKC who playing 2 bigs at the same time. So like again, they messed up with that, and again, it's not Tibbs' fault. Like this guy has shown you, whether it was in Chicago, Minnesota, now New York, everywhere he goes, he wins.
Yep.
He raises the culture up.
Yep.
The Bulls have not been back relevant since they got rid of Tibbs. We had like maybe 1 year where we made the playoffs. Another year when we first got what's my boy name? Lonzo Ball.
Yeah. Had the Florida coach there.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had 1 year where the Bulls was like number one in the East, and then Caruso got hurt and Ball got hurt, and then it was over with.
Yeah.
But since Tibbs left, so now he puts New York to the point to where they had a chance to be in the finals. The media numbers would have went crazy. New York would have went crazy.
Yeah.
Even win, lose, draw, just the fact that they was there. A finals in the Garden again.
Yeah.
That would have been great for basketball. And so now, okay, we need to make a move or two. We can run it back. But now you get rid of the driving force.
Now, I agree. Like, I think the whole Tibbs thing, since we're kind of on it, I think it was premature, but somebody had to be the scapegoat of pretty much what happened. Because, like we said, the totality, I thought they underachieved just because they were supposed to beat the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Like, the games that they lost the first two games at home. They was up 20. They was actually up 8 points with 30 seconds left in the first game. And the Pacers came like a big storm back. I think I came on here. I was like, I seen something that I never seen before in history as far as the comeback in a little amount of time. And so they like somebody got to do it. And so if you got to look at it too, the style of play made a difference. Like Tibbs teams is more, kind of slow pace and and they kind of run it through Brunson, I think, to their own hurt sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Which he is he's 6'1", 6'2". He's not really 6'3", 6'4". Mm-hmm. He's a smaller dude. You know what I'm saying? But he got a big body that can kind of do what he does. But I do think, and another thing with SA, with Stephen A., that's kind of like a Jerry Jones move. James Dolan and Jerry Jones are alike in a lot of ways as far as they're
like third cousins. I can't back that up.
Very powerful,
but
right?
They're similar.
Yeah. Right. Very powerful, but you know what I'm saying? They make questionable moves. You know what I'm saying? Are they really getting the most? Now, obviously, I think on the other hand, Jerry is way above James because we're always in the spotlight. We're always, you know what I'm saying, looked at, got all the TV games and stuff like that.
Well, in his tenure, Jerry got 3 Super Bowls, too, in his tenure.
True that.
So, I mean, now you can say it was the coaching and, the other personnel. That's true. But you can also say that while he's been the owner, he still got 3 Super Bowls. You ain't got to like it. It's a fact. Even if he didn't have nothing to do with it, he was still that was on his watch.
For sure.
So if you handing out awards on his watch, he got 3 more than a lot of owners in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. And he got 3 more than Dolan will ever have.
Yeah, definitely. And so I would say it would be great if they go out and get Greek Freak, but I don't think they have the assets, necessarily go get them as far as like in the trade goes. Maybe they can go get KD. Possibly, but then a trade. But KD is kind of old, I think, to kind of move in kind of that direction. But it should be an interesting finals, though. And
Giannis is not going anywhere. Like, don't get it twisted. Giannis is going to a state that does not have a state tax.
That would be smart.
So he's either going to play for a Texas team.
Yeah.
He's either going to play for a Florida team, and not Orlando. So he's either going to Miami, Dallas, or San Antonio, maybe Houston, or Memphis. People don't like it, but it ain't no state tax. And then this the other thing too. You got to remember this: he's only coming somewhere wherever he goes. The Greek salad is following him. You know what I'm saying? His brother. So he the Greek freak. His brother the Greek salad.
Yeah.
Like nigga, he's coming. Thanasis is coming wherever he coming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So again, like you got to think, whatever team he goes to, got to be willing. So that automatically X's out Miami because Riley ain't going. He'll take Giannis. He ain't gonna take Thanasis. So like I said, it'll be a Texas team. I mean, now granted, the other thing is too. if he goes somewhere that do have a state tax, you're gonna mess your franchise up because you're gonna have to back the Brinks truck up for him, which leaves you in a position where you're not gonna have any other assets.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, even with the NBA now, one of the things I do like about OKC being in the finals is that it's like tilt. It's like you don't need like two superstars anymore. You know what I'm saying? You actually need a full team. And I tell people, I was talking to one of coworkers or somebody, or one of the friends I know that now we were OKC 3 years ago. The Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? We had the culture. We had to walk in, doing the dancing and doing all that stuff. Everybody after the game with interviews, people huddling up, you know what I'm saying? So Josh speaking, everybody, it was like a big team thing. And if you look at OKC, that's kind of what they're doing now. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of exciting if you are a small market team like Memphis or San Antonio or anybody like that, just because you
and I don't know that we can say San Antonio a small market team. Like, they don't have a big media market, but, like, they got 5 chips. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you're talking about, okay, you already know it's Boston and L.A., and then everybody else. Nobody else is even close. But then the Knicks, you got San Antonio got 5. Chicago got 6. Miami is creeping up there. They got 3. Yep. But they done been to the finals, like, 6-7 times. You see what I'm saying? So like that's the next tier. Everybody else is 3 or less. You know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks and they got the media market, but y'all only got in y'all's history. They only got 2 championships. Yeah. In the whole history. So you talk about that media market can kiss my ass. Y'all got 2 championships to show for y'all media market. You see what I'm saying? And to your point, like, yes, it is small in terms of a media market, right. But the brand, first of all, Texas is like one of the biggest states, top 3 biggest states in the United States, and their population size is crazy. Mm-hmm. And then also the diversity of the crowd when you go to any Texas game. Because you're going to see more than any team, maybe except for the California teams, you're going to see everybody at the Texas joint. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so San Antonio and Dallas, you're going to see a large black, white, and Hispanic population. And then you go to freaking Houston, you got a lot of Asian people because when they had Yao Ming. So, like, Houston is kind of like, like they got a big Asian market that loves Houston because of when they drafted Yao. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to your point, you are correct. It is a small media market. But I agree more with your initial point that you was making about OKC. Because they don't have any championships. They don't have a great history of just being historically great. Yeah. But they built it from the ground up.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. If you're going to be a small market team, even if you look at those old San Antonio teams, who was the head of the team? Tim Duncan. He never got the money that he could have got, you know what I'm saying, because he stayed with it. Tom Brady, how they made the dynasty in New England. He took way less money than he was, kind of needed. So for them to do it, SGA to me seems like that type of brand that would take, he going to get paid regardless. In today's NBA, you going to get paid 40, 50 regardless. You know what I'm saying? Now, he could get 70, 80 somewhere else, right? But he still going to get paid even with OKC. So I think that it's good for the league, you know what I mean, that OKC is actually doing what they're doing because it can give other teams delusion of hope, whether you think it, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Be like, OKC went there and they only got really one true superstar. Everybody else is real good. Jalen Williams is real good. Chet Holmgren is upcoming. He's solid. You know what I'm saying? But anything else, just like even with us, with the Grizzlies, as much as I have problems with Triple J, mainly because he doesn't rebound and doesn't do stuff. Like, you need players like him with Ja, Bane, but we just need to be deeper.
Well, I mean, like I said, where Memphis, and I'll say it again, where Memphis fucked up, never should have got rid of Aquaman. Never should have got rid of Dylan Brooks. And if you was going to get rid of Steven Adams, then you got to get a Steven Adams type, somebody younger, you know what I'm saying, like trade and get my boy from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Beef stew. Get Isaiah Stew. Like, get a guy like that. Yeah. That's got that mentality that's still going to come and hold people accountable, hold people feet to the fire. Like you talked about that culture where everybody was together, they coming in doing a dance, and that was Dylan Brooks.
Yep.
But you got to remember, Dylan Brooks played with,
yep.
you know what I'm saying? He played with Mike Conley. He played with Tony Allen. He played with Zebo. He played with Mark. So he still had that kind of old head mentality. Now, did he talk a little bit too much? Yes, of course. Was he extra? Yes, but he was the glue. You see what I'm saying? So, like, now when you remove the glue, what happened? Everything fall apart.
Yeah.
And so then the other thing is, again, the winningest coach in the history of the franchise, and we do dumb shit and we fire him. Like, again, I'm going to use a boxing analogy. How did Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson? The same boring ass jab.
Yeah.
They jabbed him to death.
It
was boring, but it worked.
Yeah.
And so you do what gets you there. You keep building on it. Now, you know what? Evander, this jab boring. We got to step it up. Start brawling with him. What you think would have happened?
Over with.
Lennox, start brawling with him. And none of Lennox fight. Lennox never brawled with nobody.
Right. He was a technical fighter.
So again, when sometimes we get this idiotic thought process of like, I'm winning, let me start doing something different.
Yeah.
Look, it's like a crock pot. A crock pot cooks slow, but if you let it cook, it's delicious. Yeah. But you gotta let it cook. And sometimes that's the problem. Like we're such a microwave world now. We're such a cell phone world now. We forget having the discipline of having to save 25 cents, then 35 cents, then 50 cents, so you could go to a payphone. The discipline of having to remember people's numbers. So if you were stranded somewhere, you had to actually think of who to call. You had to memorize numbers of who to call. Now we ain't got to memorize nothing. You just go to your phone and type in the name, and we're that type of generation. And so we think that, okay, all we got to do is, we got the players. Let's just replace the coach. But personalities matter. Fit matters. Culture matters.
Yeah. And all that, like I said, I was definitely wrong, because I think I was on here saying we need to get rid of Dylan Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he had his flaws, but at the end of it, you know what I'm saying, negated some of the culture stuff that necessarily he was bringing, because I was thinking, although Ja is the superstar, he was more so a role player in the culture wise. You know what I'm saying? He was a superstar on the court, but as far as culture wise, Dylan, Tyus Jones,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like those other cats, you know, as far as the locker room, which we got rid of both of those cats, Dylan and Tyus, which I think kind of it put us back. And so now you see with Houston, there was a number 2 seed this year. You can say what you want. They underachieved and lost to Golden State in the first round. But if you saw their culture, their toughness, you saw Dylan was a big part of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So as good
it
as
was two things. They had the coach.
Yeah.
And they had.
Yeah, and Kleiman, like as good as Kleiman has been with the Grizzlies, he's been misstepping these last couple of years, and so we got to get back to it, because we're at a point now where Ja's going into a 7th or 8th year, Jaren going into his 5th, 6th or 7th year. You know what I mean? To where we got to make some moves. You know what I'm saying? And so now we gotta do something. And now we pretty much gotta rely on our younger people to develop. Gigi, Jalen. I like Jalen Wells, Edie. You know, like players like that. So coming back to the OKC,
I mean, Scottie Pippen. Like to me, Scottie Pippen Jr. kind of not so much from a culture standpoint, but from his play. He was losing Tyus didn't hurt so much because he kind of filled that role in. Yeah. But we did not get another Dylan.
No.
We didn't get another Dylan.
But
you know what I'm saying? We didn't get another Steven Adams.
We were supposed to, what they were trying to do with Marcus Smart. But that move didn't work. That move just pretty much put a log jam at the guard spot, because now he couldn't play the 3 or the 4.
Right. Because you could get Dylan to play. Well, Dylan could easily, you could flip-flop him and Bane, because you could put Bane.
Because he could guard the
twos.
Guards.
Right.
And
but Dylan could guard 3 positions easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, don't get me wrong, Smart is a very good defensive player, but he's more so with the guards.
Yeah.
He ain't really dealing up no forwards like that. You could
Plus he got injured too.
Right.
You know
could
put
DB.
And older. Yeah.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man, that's what it is. But I am excited about the finals is actually starts tomorrow, so I want to see kind of what they do, and it should be intriguing. Like I said, I'm predicting OKC to win it. You know what I mean? Just because they just see him on the road, they got the pedigree. You got your boy from Chicago, Caruso. You know what I'm saying? Went from the Lakers, won the championship with the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they got him, and so it's going to be tough to beat them boys. But I think the Pacers, they also too exude like the style of you don't need just one person. They got they go 9 or 10 deep themselves. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Again, that was what the Grizzlies were 3 years ago. We went 8, 9, 10 deep. You know what I mean? But like you said, we start thinking too much and being like, well, let's kind of, shake up the system and doing stuff like that, and it ended up failing. So hopefully we can get better with that.
And I know we moved, but when you think about it, like with the Bulls, when they made the change, they got Phil Jackson in. They didn't win a championship that next year. They didn't win the year after that.
No.
It was like his third year that they finally got over the hump. But now in today's logic, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, we lost to Detroit. Let's change the coach.
Yeah.
Like, no, they had to think about it with the Pistons when they got Chuck Daly. They didn't win. They lost to Atlanta in the playoff series. They was losing to Philadelphia and Boston. But in today's logic, let's get rid of the Hall of Famer Chuck Daly. You see what I'm saying? Like, the way this winning culture was built is like, yes, people took their lumps, people took their losses. Occasionally, if you had an all-time great team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, we got to, sometimes in order for a seed to grow, it has to die.
Yeah.
And we forget that. You know what I'm saying? We plant the seed, but we don't want the seed to die. Or if the seed died, then we dig it up and start over again.
Right. And every situation is different. It's like everything is a copycat league. So you see somebody else do something and they flip it. It's like, let me do the same thing. But do you have the right personnel in the culture? Like context matters, right? So if we see somebody else do that, just like we talking about testimony, somebody get up doing church service with testimony, like that's what God told them to do. It's not for us to be inspired by their story and the testimony, not be inspired to do exactly what they did and how they did it, right? And so now in the secular world, it's just like, okay, it's good to take from it, but you may not need to do it because you got different personnel and different people that you need to, adhere to and look at the context of it.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on here quickly. I didn't know we was going to go in like that on, the basketball part, but it was needed. I think so, especially we killed a couple birds with one stone. Now, one of the things, if you see the thumbnail, you're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been a big part of the news lately because he is leaving the Trump administration, capping this. I put up this whole thing, but he's basically leaving, and so now, I ain't gonna lie, like I've been busy, so I haven't really been diving in as far as some of the context when it comes to this. But he's leaving the Trump administration. But I do want to say with this, it was always supposed to be temporary, though. Him in the Dodge situation, it was never the way he made his cabinet was more so. When it comes to this, it was more so it had a time limitation to it. So him leaving the Trump administration is not the news, but I think the most of the news is him having some criticism of him and some of the things that he's doing as far as taxes and doing stuff of that nature. But I do think it's interesting. One of the news, it was on USA Today, says Elon Musk has officially left the Trump administration, capping the billionaire tech entrepreneur's turbulent 4-month run, leading a contentious effort to slash the federal budget. Musk, who had already scaled back his role in the Department of Government Efficiency, which is Doge, announced his departure on May 28th on his famous, now owned X, formerly known as Twitter. It comes as his destination as a special government employee, which allowed him to stay on the job for 130 calendar days a year, has ended. And he's quoted as in saying, as my scheduled time as special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. Musk said the Doge mission would only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government. So again, like I said, this from the beginning was only a short term thing, and they said that in the beginning. But one thing I hate about the media is that they conjure up things like this was supposed to be like a whole 4 year term, and then create narratives around it to where, oh, see, he's doing like, let's break it down into context. Musk was only going to be here for 4 to 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So the stuff that he was supposed to do with Doge has, ended and went else. But does he have some differences, I think, with Trump? I think that's clear. But my thing when I look at certain things like this is that that you can work with somebody in a government and not agree 100% with them. We're on this podcast, we're brothers, you know what I'm saying? But we don't agree with each other near 100% of the time, but we work with each other, right? So that doesn't mean that you helping me out and you picking the kids up certain things that you agree with everything, but I see a common goal that we're trying to do, and so let's do that, and then we can part ways or do whatever we got to do. So I just think the whole narrative, I think that a lot of people are putting out there, Musk has been troubled in a lot of areas. I think he's actually doing something here in Memphis, right? With the AI whole, you know what I'm saying, situation. But
helping people get cancer.
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit too. But he's, so that's what I was looking at with this. It's not about. I think when anybody has this certain situation, they believe if somebody rocks with this person, they got to agree in lockstep with 100% of what that person is. Not saying, okay, oh look, we have a common enemy, we have a common interest. Okay, let's tackle this, go about it, and then we can go our separate ways. You know what I'm saying? This is what I think this particularly was, and so I don't think necessarily is nothing wrong with that.
I mean, like for him criticizing, and I'm not a Musk guy or a Trump guy, but like for him criticizing, that's just that old infamous Mr. Pot meet Mr. Kettle. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like you criticizing, and what they say, it ain't no fun with when the rabbit got the gun. Like
right.
you don't like certain stuff, but like to quote one of my favorites, it's cool when he do it, or it's cool when I do it. It's a problem when he do it. Like you like when you get to do, like I said, what you're doing here. No matter how it affects people or whatever, it's okay because your vision or whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't like his vision, but in his mind, he's thinking the same thing. He's like, hey, this is my vision. I got a bigger plan at play. But you don't like the plan that's at play. You don't like, it's not the way that you would do it. It's not the way you want to do it. And so now it's a problem because, and to your point, maybe it was never a deal that he was supposed to be there the whole 4 years or whatever. But if it was going the way that he wanted it to go, he wouldn't be leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going the way that you want it to go. So instead of you, okay, you know what? We philosophically disagree, but I'm going to still do what I'm supposed to be doing over here. I'm going to let you handle it. No, you're going to take your ball and go home. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that kid, okay, we playing with your ball. You call foul. Man, that wasn't no foul, man. Shoot for, like, you missed the shot. Man, you know what? I'm going home. Like, what? Like, you had a chance to shoot for it. Like, you missed. Like, let's keep playing. Like, that's what he's doing. And so, again, greed is an evil thing. And unfortunately, some people's power, their achievement to get power is a form of greed. And when you're thinking that way, you're not thinking clearly. And you get under this notion that because you have a certain level of income or influence or authority, that it's always supposed to go your way.
Yeah.
And if the minute that it don't go your way, now you're just gonna bail out.
Right. And also too, when you look at it, even just from, we can see this from the NFL standpoint. How many times do billionaires agree with each other? They become billionaires because they're used to controlling the narrative, doing what they want to do when they want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so Trump being the headmaster or whatever in chief, in the country and the world, and Musk being who he is with Tesla and everything else, you don't think he's seeing the backlash he getting with Tesla and all this other stuff? He's like, well, this don't align with me. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that, like I said, and this was it. This was it from the beginning. This was never supposed to be a 4-year relationship. This was a 4 to 6 month relationship, and I think it went about 3 months, 3 or 4 months. You know what I'm saying? So this, this will continue up. I do think, just with everything, even when it's going with Trump. I had a conversation with and salute to my nephew, man. My nephew is back in town now. My oldest nephew, Lil Rodney, he back out of prison. He just came back here to Memphis. He'll be here for the foreseeable future and stuff like that. And my other nephew, Rashard, his brother, be checking it out and watching. We be having conversations about it. Talk about what's up with your boy Trump and stuff. We've had different conversations and stuff like that. And so the things I was telling him is like, just like you're a coach. You're a coach. If I think Mello said on his podcast before, would he be a president of an organization? Be like, yeah, if you give me 4 or 5 years and being like, I can't fire you, after 4 or 5 years, and you give me time to do what I do, and then you can kind of judge it. Trump's first 100 days, was very critical, very highly criticized when we talk about the tariffs and all this stuff. But if you're looking at your accounts, I know I'm looking at my 401k, like things have been looking better the past 3 or 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Just because, like I said, you got to give certain things time. Not saying that everything he's doing I do agree with, but saying that you got to give people certain time, especially when things have been going totally the other way. And we saw that here in Memphis with Dr. Fagans and stuff like that. When a certain culture has been going a certain way for years and decades, and somebody comes in here and try to shake it up, it's not going to look pretty in the beginning. You have to give somebody some time to cook. I think she made a viral video with Glorilla. You know what I'm saying? She had the song "Let Her Cook." You know what I'm saying? Doing all that stuff. Like, you have to let people do what they do for a certain amount of time before you start legitimately like criticizing them. And so now I think once we get this time next year and beyond, now we can kind of like, okay, hey, this is not kind of going the way we think it should go. And we can look at the economy and inflation and different stuff like that to where we can be like, okay, we can judge it. But just like you were saying, even with basketball, it's like we're in a microwave society. We want everything to turn around so quickly, but we didn't get there, you know what I'm saying, like that. It was a slow drag. Right. And so I do think, as much as I know you don't rock with, Trump or Musk or whatever, I more so rock with Trump. You know what I'm saying? In most instances, but you know what I'm saying? You with anybody, you got to give people certain times to cook, and then we can kind of, you know what I'm saying, look at the smoke and like be like judge it kind of for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm objective when somebody is right, when they say something right, when they do something objectively or fair. I'm not gonna be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, that was fair, but you still a piece of shit. Cause like, no, I'm gonna say. That don't have nothing to do with this. You made a good decision right there. You made a good statement right there. When you apologized, that was genuine or sincere. When you spoke highly of somebody, like that was very good of you or mature of you to do that. That's just the way I am. Now, again, it don't mean I'm finna be your biggest fan, right. But I'm also not finna bring up old shit. When you do something, I'm gonna deal with what we dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I mean, and I put that, I preface that out, so because I don't want it to ever be confused when I do say something positive about either one of them, because what I said could have been perceived as like, oh, that's favorable to Trump, because I said, oh, the pot calling the kettle, black. Like, no, I mean, like, that ain't my guy, but Elon, if it was going your way, you would still be rocking with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I I'm an observer. You know, I pray for people in authority. I pray for people who have influence and power. You know, but I keep it moving. You know, what they eat don't make me shit. You know, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, okay, now you sent me a few things that, and some of the things I have seen, and some of the things I'm not necessarily too privy to. Now, Kneel on the Black Man Challenge.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that, man. Tell us about that, bro.
So that was one of your boys who made the video, the picture I sent you.
Who that?
What's his name? Jake Lang. He was one of the January 6th rioters.
Really?
Who also received a pardon from 45.
Mm-hmm.
But he's making a video where he's kneeling on this black guy's back, and he's like trying to prove like, oh, okay, see, George Floyd didn't die from that. If you look at the picture of the guy what I sent you, first of all, the angle is completely different. The guy is like, you know, on some rocks, and then he's kind of a little bit more elevated. Yeah. It's not like the guy's laying on flat concrete. And if you also look at the placement of where his knee is, which is like kind of in between the shoulder blades and not literally on the back of his neck, right. You know what I'm saying? Which is also a difference if you go back and look at that disturbing image of what happened to George Floyd. And again, two things can be true. Everybody's like, oh, well, he had all these drugs in his system. You know, it's a lot of people who have heart disease or heart issues that get chased by a dog and fall out and have a heart attack because they got chased by a dog. And you could say, oh, well, if they didn't eat that pork chop sandwich last week, they would have lived. Yeah. No, but it was them getting chased by the dog and the anxiety of I might get mauled by this German Shepherd or Pit Bull that made my heart beat overly fast, and you exacerbated something. Yeah. We'll never know if whatever George Floyd had in his system would have caused him to pass away later that day, a week later, a month later, a year later. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Yeah. But like I would dare say, let somebody sit on you for 9 minutes. I mean, most of us can't even take somebody putting their hand over our nose and mouth because we're going to have a panic attack because we think we're not going to be able to breathe.
Going to lose breath. Yeah.
So that whole thing is trying to put forth this narrative, and it goes back to something I said a few weeks ago. Like I'm tired of us trying to justify when we get in trouble. I'm tired of us trying to justify when we get in trouble. Mm-hmm. Like with R. Kelly, you know, like with Diddy. Oh, they ain't saying nothing about Hugh Hefner. But I'm also sick of when people do wrong, they try to justify, oh, well, if he wouldn't have been doing this, it would have been no reason for the police to shoot him 61 times. Yeah. I dare say if you don't have a gun, it's no reason for anybody to shoot you 61 times. If you tell me to stop and I keep walking, it's no reason for me to get shot 61 times. Yeah. If I'm walking to work, you can shoot me in the ass or the leg and I'll live to tell about it. Yeah. But like, this is another dumbass challenge that they're doing. The Kneel on the Black Man Challenge, because they're trying to prove, and this is also, again, why I wasn't really here. Oh, Trump pardoned NBA Youngboy and he pardoned Larry Hoover. Yes, because I do believe that at some point he's going to pardon Derek Chauvin. And so now we ain't going to be able to say nothing. Now, again, I'm not familiar with what went on with NBA Youngboy. Not familiar with what went on with Larry Hoover. I will say it was times I got in trouble for slapping my brother, or my brother exaggerated how hard I slapped him upside the head. And I got on punishment. I got a whooping for it. But man, my mama didn't know. My daddy didn't know. Oh, we had some girls in the house while they was at work. They didn't know all the figurines and shit that we broke and glued back together. Yeah. So, yes, my brothers may have exaggerated. Man, I barely bumped you. I barely touched you. I was pushing you off of me. Yeah. But for me to act like I ain't break a whole bunch of my mom's figurines, for me to act like we ain't have a whole bunch of girls in the house when my parents was at work. So it's like, you know what? I did do some stuff that they don't know about, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take this punishment. Like I said, I don't know what Youngboy did. I don't know what Larry Hoover did. Yeah. But I can guarantee you, like, if you're doing stuff, you're doing things you ain't got no business doing. You're involved in a life you ain't got no business being involved in. True enough, you might have got railroaded for something that you didn't do. Yeah, but like now, if you was to be so like, okay, fine. Well, what did you do? Right. Would you still be getting the pardon? Yeah. Would you still be getting out? You see what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, I don't feel like, and that's anybody, again, you wasn't never hearing me saying free Meech. Like, you was about that life. Yeah. That's what you wanted to do. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how the movie ends. You lived. Right. Your son is becoming a superstar. Yeah. Charge it to the game. Yeah. Ain't no free me, and I was with the shit. Right. And like that's what I signed up for. That's a part of the game. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so like again, I see the pardons, but then I'm looking at that and I'm like, it's coming. It may not be in 2025. Yeah. But before he get out of office, it's coming.
And I can see that happening. Now to speak on what you were talking about with I know what you sent me. I just hate any of this stuff is being brought up. Just because, you know, as many years later as this is, it's like, what's the reason for this challenge? Why? What is it going to prove? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it looks like, whether that's your intention or not, you're smudging it in front of the face of black people, of people that really, you know what I'm saying, was pushing hard for George Floyd. And so, you know, and this is where I jump off the whatever you want to put the conservatives train or whatever else like that, because you're not sticking to the facts. You're smudging it in people's face, and you know acting like you're righteous. You know what I'm saying, to a degree. You know what I mean, and so. You know, George Floyd, you know, family or whatever don't deserve that, or whoever else, you know, feel a certain way about that. So, kneeling on the black man challenge is like, it's the ultimate, I think, kind of spit in your face, you know, type thing, because there's no need for it, I think, at this point. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to bring it back up, because now, to what you're saying, you bringing up some good points. It's like, you know, all this stuff is just not, you know, it's not necessary. And so now, I just don't get the point. I don't get the point of why you're doing it and what it's for, and the point is trying to prove, other than you being a self-righteous prick. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. But, you know, even what you were saying about, you know, the stuff going on with, you know, Trump and all that stuff, like that could happen. Like, I can't, Chauvin, I would say no, but I've seen different. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, but and it's we'll see. Like how you said, you don't see why it's coming back. Like, so think about this now. We celebrate July 4th. Why? That was the War for Independence, right? Versus Great Britain. We won. We celebrate that. Yeah. We celebrate Christopher Columbus, who stole a bunch of shit. I mean, like, that's like me coming over here, going in your room and saying, ooh, I discovered this watch in the name of Roche. In your house? Yeah. You're going to be like, nigga, no, that's my watch. Ooh, I discovered these shoes in the name of me. You'll be like, man, they're my shoes. You got my Dr. Scholl's insoles. I put it like, you're going to be, how you discover something in my house? Yeah, Dr. Scholl's. But we would celebrate, oh, Christopher Columbus. Yeah. How do you discover something where somebody's already occupying that space? Yeah. It's people, like hundreds and thousands of people in this space, and you discover something that was already there. Mm-hmm. It's just like when I used to go in my grandma's house and I'd be going through the drawers and be like, ooh, grandma, I found this quarter. She said it wasn't lost. Ooh, grandma, I found this candy. It wasn't lost. Yeah. It was where I put it. It's in my house. It belongs to me. You didn't discover something that I put there or it was already there. It had a space.
Mm-hmm.
But we celebrate that. But now we don't never celebrate the war of 1812. You know why? We lost that motherfucker. We don't celebrate Vietnam. You know why? We lost that motherfucker. But you know what they do still celebrate? They still got that Confederate flag up. And them motherfuckers lost. But that's the thought process. That's the thought process of a lot of people. You lost, but you still celebrate and say, oh, well, this is my heritage. Like, you know what I never hear you talk about? I don't never hear you talk about the time the Cowboys made it to the NFC Championship and lost when y'all lost. The only time I bring it up when people talk about the 49ers ain't did, I was like, okay, now we did play. But you don't hear me talk bragging about, yeah, we lost to the Ravens, bro. Yeah. We lost to the Chiefs twice. You never hear me mention it. Oh, we made it to the NFC Championship. We lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship. Oh, we lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. You don't never hear me bring that up. Only in reference to when people say, y'all ain't been doing them. Like, all right, now we did. We was there. Right. But outside of that, you hear me bragging about that. You know why? Because we fucking lost. Mm-hmm. But like that mentality of, even though we lost, even though we were proven to be wrong, even though we were proven to be immoral and ungodly in this particular area, we're still gonna represent. Yeah, and that's the same. That is just the same as your woman wearing the lingerie that another nigga bought her. And it's like, well, you don't understand. This is just a time in my culture and a time in my life. That's just like if you gave your woman another ring that you had with the other woman name on the inside of the motherfucking ring. Yeah. Well, you don't understand. I was working hard and you don't know the money that I spent. And she'd have been like, I'd have rather you got me a damn Cracker Jack box ring. or at least take this ring back and get it script like.
Yeah. It just be like, I was just thinking about, they have these T-shirts now. Let's say your girl wear a big long T-shirt to bed saying, I'm his. And, but your ex bought that for you. And we knew that, right? And so you coming to bed, basically replace, I'm his, big like, you ain't with him no more. So this is representing you. Be like, but no, like, you got this from old buddy.
Burn that motherfucking shirt.
It gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So I get you.
Only thing you ain't gotta get rid of is something living. You got a dog or a fish you've been feeding or something, okay, fine. Yeah. You got a child, you can't get rid of the child. Right. Anything else, like, don't tell me. Don't rub it in my face. Like, let me live in my delusion. Like, if you got some nice shoes, ooh, girl, them shoes nice. Like, ooh, I like them. Don't you tell me that he got them for you. Because now they got to go. Yeah. Because now I'm going to put them in the damn fish tank with the fish. Or I'm going to put them next to the dog bowl. Oh, how did the dog get? Bad dog. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. But like, that's that same mentality. So when you said you don't know how they bring it up, and I would say that they don't have that same energy when they want to remember that, but they want us to forget the dogs and the fire hoses and the fire bombings and the rapings and the killings. And so, like, my grandmother, both of my grandmothers, when they were living, they went through. My dad grew up during segregation. Yeah. So when you think about that, we're just one generation. Yeah. Your dad grew up during that. Your mom grew up during that. We are literally we are first generation not having to go through that. Right. Yeah. And so now if you go back to your grandparents went through that.
Yeah. Now the only thing when it comes to stuff like that, and people be asking my opinion about that, like, I'm for moving forward and, not living on the past, but also if you're trying to negate the past and act like the past doesn't mean anything in how we think and how we process things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? When it comes to, like you said, I remember my dad first time got arrested was downtown in Memphis when he was a teenager or something for being in the back of a truck. He was telling me a story, like, because that back going downtown, that's where the white folks was. You know what I'm saying? You really couldn't be down there. So him and a couple of his boys or someone down there, and they got in some trouble or whatnot. And so now, like you said, that was 60 years ago. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so now, you know what I'm saying, you look at certain things like that, and it's like, you know, you can't negate it. You can say we're better for it now and we can move forward, but now like we have to look at it. I just don't like when you just try to exempt everything and act like nothing ever happened.
Right.
That's my situation. Now, do we need to move forward? Do we need to forgive? Do we need to look at things with wisdom in a different lens? Yes, but to act like none of this stuff mattered, act like none of this stuff didn't create certain traumas in me, certain traumas in my family, certain traumas in how we operate, certain places where we live now. We're living where we live now. We live in the hoods now. Mm-hmm. We live in North Memphis and South Memphis now because of certain this divides and stuff like that now. Now to act like that's not true, that's where I jump off and be like, hey bro, like I hear you, but you know what I'm saying? You have to put everything into its rightful place and put it into its perspective.
And I only, and like I said, I'm okay with forgetting everything if we're gonna like how we did. Okay, fine. Let's scratch Columbus Day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Let's scratch the 4th of July too.
Yeah.
Let's scratch Thanksgiving because we already know the history and all the murders and the disease that they spread and stuff that took place with that. So if we're gonna scratch it all, and so all the Japanese Americans that are here, y'all can't remember when y'all's ancestors was placed in internment camps during World War II after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And to everybody who's Jewish, y'all can't talk about the Holocaust no more. See, they ain't gonna do that. But guess what? I don't want them to do that. Right. We don't need to forget that because that is a part of everybody's history. And so it's the old quote. I don't want to misquote it, but basically the essence is if you don't learn, if you forget the past, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. You're going to go through the same thing over and over again. So we need to be reminded of it so we can feel ashamed, so we can be embarrassed, so we can say, damn, that was fucked up. We shouldn't. Our great-grandparents, they was fucked up, boy. Like, they did some bad, evil stuff. Yeah. And that keeps us humble. That keeps us in a place of we can't go back here.
Even biblically speaking, God in Israel, he wanted them to remember their slavery, you know, in Egypt and what happened and the turmoil they went through, going through, you know, the wilderness and the, you know, getting the manna and all this stuff.
That's why they celebrated Passover.
Correct. They wanted them to remember all this to move forward, but then also be like, bruh, we don't want to do this no more because we know what it felt like to be in this slavery, to be in this bondage, to be without, you know, God now. And so now let's move forward, but let's like, hey, bro, we was in a tough place.
Well, I mean, and it's the same thing. It's funny how you mentioned, you know, the traffic situation with your pops and them. Like, if you've ever gotten a ticket on a certain street, every time you turn, you get ready to turn the corner, what happened? You adjust your speed. Why? Because you remember. Yeah. You don't want that ticket again. Right. And if it's the same cop who pulled you over, the little warning or the leeway you got the first time, you might not get because now you know better. You've been through this before. And so to the same token, to your point, when you mentioned how they did that in scripture, it was because they knew, okay, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, they didn't go through this. But we don't need them to be so comfortable that they get into this place, and then because when they go through it, it's going to be worse than when we went through it. Yeah. It's going to be more evil than when what we were doing. Yeah. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason why we get reminded of it is so we don't repeat those same mistakes. So we don't fall in a worse pit. Because, again, and I, again, just juxtaposing this with old school car. You hit a pothole in an old school 70-something, 60-something car, man, you ain't gonna do nothing to that damn car, like, but maybe, you know, bounce a little bit or the shocks ain't as good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your back gonna be hurting a little bit, but like now, the car is now, man. You hit a pothole, that damn car fall apart. and so, again, what our grandparents went through, like, oh, they were able to make it through. Yeah. But now, if our kids go through some of that same stuff, man, they don't know how to act when you take the phone away.
Man, what?
They don't know how to act when you cut the TV off. What you think they gonna do when somebody forcing them into labor, beating them into labor? Like, these kids got more therapy and more understanding, and y'all have anxiety attacks and flip out because my dad works a lot.
Yeah.
What about the kids that saw their dad get murdered in front of them and they couldn't do nothing but stand there and watch it, and they had to cope, and you just don't like it because when your dad gets home, it's dark outside and y'all can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you see him, he in the house with you, but like y'all got to go to therapy for that.
Man, it's crazy.
Come on, man.
You bring that up because my kids now, they started camp this week, summer camp, and so the first day I picked them up, from it, they face all down and feeling all bad, looking like they got tears. And I'm like, what's happened? What's wrong? Like, y'all didn't have a good day? Oh man, I didn't like their lunch. You know what I'm saying? The peanut butter and jelly sandwich was all soggy and but did you eat? You know what I'm saying? Like if you hungry, like to me, like I hope the camp is even not as great as they want it to be because y'all have been spoiled in a lot of different ways, and so now if it's not the lunch that you want, it's a free lunch. It's come along with the camp. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to pay for bring you lunch. So now if you don't want it, don't eat. But if you hungry, you gonna eat what they provide and what they gonna do. But you coming home crying because your mommy didn't cook you the chips and take the little crust off the bread and stuff like that, like they do. And so, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, no, this because they used to being either at home, they went to with their TT's camp last year at their church and stuff like that, and so they were more conditioned and coddled in a way. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like to what you were saying. It's like, look, man, you gonna sink or swim? You know what I'm saying? If you're hungry, you will eat. If not, I'm just gonna wait till I get home, and that's your decision.
And you know what? It's like, man, if y'all got kids, please listen. Hear me. Look at me in my eyeball.
I'm the captain.
You are not right. You are not raising children.
Yeah.
You are raising adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because never seen anybody tombstone with the years going backwards. You are raising adults.
Yep.
So every day that you see them, they will never be that young again. They are always going forward. So whatever you let them get away with, just remember you're training an adult that it's okay to constantly lie. Yep. It's okay to be irresponsible. Yep. It's okay to not have any accountability. It's okay to be a victim. It's okay to be lazy. Yep. It's okay to make excuses. You are raising adults. And unfortunately, we have given our children, because that's what they are right now, but we have given them this idea that you got options. You got options when you funding it.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm footing the bill, ain't no option. Like if I put your plate on the table, you know what? Your option is if you don't want to use your fork, you at the house, go ahead. I don't care. Just eat the food.
Right.
Eat the cake, anime. But I don't want that. Okay, well don't eat. I'm gonna eat some. No, cereal is for breakfast, or if I give you permission to eat the cereal. You don't have permission to eat cereal at dinner time because now when breakfast comes, you ain't got no more cereal.
Right.
And who got to replace it? Me.
Yep. Yep.
And the problem is that we train our children to do this. Then when they get adults, they wonder why they can't keep a job because your boss don't give a fuck about your options.
At all.
You wonder why they got beat by the police because the police don't give a fuck about your options.
Yeah.
Like we had sense of somebody holding us up on the street trying to take our starter jacket or our J's, we instantly coming up out. And a lot of these kids, because they don't know how to take the fucking J's off or give the jacket up or give the car up.
Yeah.
Because your parents made you think you have a choice when you get out in the real world. And in most cases, you do not. Yeah. If you are not in control, you must comply. And that sucks. Yeah. But the key is be in positions where you are controlling most of your situation on your own shit. Yeah. But if you got to be in somebody else's system or situation, you got to follow the rules. And that's whether you're on a team, whether you're working a job, in some cases in a relationship. In some cases, you're going to have to okay, you know what? And I always use this analogy, let's say we going out of town. So me and you, we put our money in. We didn't pay for the Airbnb. We didn't pay for the rental car, whatever. And we got another one of our homeboys. And We want him to go. We want his presence. But he like, man, I ain't got no money. Like, man, you know what, JB, man, you want him to go? Yeah, man, I tell you what, man, we finna pay your way.
Yeah.
All you got to do is show up, man. Look, we got you on the food. Well, guess what? When we out of town, guess what he don't get to do? He don't get to say what restaurant we going to, nigga. You didn't put nothing in.
You ain't got no opinions no more.
You can ask like, hey, y'all, you know, what y'all think about this? But you don't get to say we're not going here. Oh no, we must not go.
You got suggestions.
No, me and JB gonna be saying like, what you think? You like that? You want to go to the steakhouse or you want to go to this? You know what I'm saying? The soul food. But what you want to do? We gonna have that discussion. The person who didn't put in on this,
right?
What he saying, Friday? You didn't put in on this, man.
You didn't put in, yeah.
And so you know, again, man, like that's unfortunate that these kids have these options, but they have it because they don't know the history. They don't know our history. Right. They don't know what we went through with our parents, the stuff we wasn't allowed to do.
Yeah.
And some of us, we like, we gonna get our parents back. So, my kid ain't going, and we don't understand the reason why you a solid dude.
Yeah.
Is because of the punishments, because of the roasting, because of the ass, because of the structure and the discipline.
Yeah. And actually, some of the stuff we older now. Some of the stuff we talk about today. Even me, like, oh man, I remember when I got my butt whooped when I did so and so. When I cut school, when I went to Shoney's up the street from Craigmont, when I was supposed to be in third period or something like that.
Is it anything in that spot now?
I think it's a Shoney still. I don't know.
I mean, I know they closed it at some point.
Yeah, it's some still over there. I'm
but
not
when
sure.
you
It's
said
a Taco
that, I
Bell
know
over
exactly
there.
the one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, right over there on Pike.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you look at stuff like that, man, it's a badge of honor for us now. But at that point, it was like, you were like, bro, I hate this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fool with it. But now, like you were saying, it's a badge of honor to where we can look back and be like, nah, like I earned my stripes during that time or during that moment or during that period, because even though I didn't like it at that point, I was being trained to, you know what I'm saying, condition my mind to like what this gonna be like out here in the real world. Nigga, you ain't gonna get away with this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
And man, when you mentioned the Pike, man, shout out to our boy Irk, man. Carl Erskine Davis, man. Shout out to Coach Irk. He over there.
Yeah,
back at Craigmont, is one of the coaches over there, man. Shout out to him, man. Good brother over there at
Full
Youth
circle,
Villages.
man. Yeah.
Man, always working with the kids. I mean, and he been doing it,
bro.
Not just with Youth Villages, man, coaching kids, being active in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's somebody who's really, again, somebody who hasn't forgotten the history of where he came from and how he grew up. And he references people who put in with him, like a Coach Stokes back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always gives props to those people who poured into his life, man. So it's good to see somebody
very inspiring. Yeah.
Right, and then he's giving it back. He's putting it back in the, like, showing how you do it. Yeah. You know, because I mean, he make a good living. He make decent money.
He does,
but he ain't forgot. You know what I'm saying? Where he came, and he's back in the same neighborhoods that he grew up in. You know what I'm saying? We got
to get him on the show, man. Actually, I've been thinking about that a few times, but we definitely got to get him on the show because I talked to him yesterday. I hit him up on the text just to tell him congratulations. You know what I'm saying, on everything that, you know, transpired as far as him being at back at the Mont. You know what I'm saying, with the head coaching job in the middle school, and so we definitely got to get him on the show because he has done a lot for he just don't talk about it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And he'll post stuff that he's doing with his team. Yeah. It's the Bluff City something, but he coached like the basketball team that he coaches. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he'll post like, all right, man, your boy tired. I'm about to smoke me a cigar and pour me up a glass. It's been a long day, but you know what I'm saying? You don't like, he's speaking my language. Yeah. I'm always up for a good cigar and a glass, but But yeah, man, shouts out to him, you know, with that. I mean, and again, man, like you said, dude, it was niggas who didn't know who I was, but knew who I was because they like, that must be Roche. They like, I don't even know you. Yeah. But they knew me because my dad was always like, that man stopped working to be up. When I got in high school, that man was up there from the time I was in 9th grade till I graduated. He was up there every week. And he said, like, I had a vision. I cannot lose my son to the streets. and he knew where I was going, and I was trying to fight him tooth and nail, but and so like and it was people like it was like guys I used to hang with, like, man, nah, you can't be with us, man. Your dad coming.
Yeah.
Like, man, you ain't finna get us roasted by Mr. Rag. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, come on, man, I'm the
Right. Yeah.
you know, I'm the crash out kid. Like, I'm always trying to do something to prove myself. But like, they're like,
Right.
nah, man, your dad coming. Like, you can't fool with us, yeah. So to that point that you were talking about at the time, I hated it. But man, in hindsight, like, man, you saved my life, dude.
You got them stripes right now, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much, and I still managed to do. But then it was some shit I didn't do because I knew who I had to go home to.
Yeah.
I knew what conversation I was gonna have to have if I could fuck up a little bit, but I can't crash all the way out because I know who gonna have to bail me out of jail or who gonna be on the other side of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, nah, that's real, man. That's a whole nother pod conversation with that. Actually, yeah.
Oh, and he said he said let him know. He said he ready.
He read. Oh yeah, I wanted to say happy belated birthday. I saw he had a birthday here. Last week?
68 years old.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw him.
And he said he ready to get unfiltered. He said I ain't gonna be doing no cussing or nothing like that. He said, but I get unfiltered. He said I ain't scared to talk about whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
So he said he ready.
He said he ready. He said let him know.
Set it up, right?
All right, hey, we might have him and Irk in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, set it up. All right, now let's see what else we kind of got here. Now we were talking about it a little bit. Well, speaking of unfit parents, D Wade. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you hate to talk about another man's household, but he putting everything out there. I forgot his son's name. Zaya. Yeah. So
that used to be Zaire or Zion. No, Zion. Zaire's the one that was playing basketball.
Yeah. Zion. Okay.
So it changed from Zion to Zaya.
Zaya, okay.
Yeah. Because Zaire's the one that was playing basketball.
Yeah. That's the one that went to the G League or something like that.
Yeah, Zion, the youngest one, changed his name to Zaya.
Yeah. Now, that was at, I don't know if it was a birthday party or something like that. And then I think Gabrielle Union put out a post. It's like, man, everybody needs your type of guts or something like that. Like, anytime I see stuff like that, bro, it's sickening to my stomach. Just because, not because you're not loving it, you're promoting it. You know what I'm saying? You're co-signing it, right? It'd be different if you have somebody like that in your family that's what they do, but you're not. You ain't gonna be posting them and being like, oh my gosh, this is that. You know what I'm saying? And so, especially like another man, we always talk about black men and how we're like, this is an example of how, you know, really black men are getting feminized. You know what I mean? Because she's a he. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's PC to, you know, have Dwayne Wade's back, and I think a lot of people just more so feel sorry for him because they wouldn't do that in their own household. They wouldn't promote that in their own household. But since it's D Wade, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest two guards ever, is doing that, you have to call a spade and being like, this is not a good example to set as a father. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we come from strong dads and stuff like that, so we're in the minority when it comes to that. But it's like, you know, there's a way, I think, to love your child even through the midst of this type of turmoil, and to support it to the degree that he's doing. Not only support it, he's encouraging her or him, you know what I'm saying, to be a certain way. I just think it's sickening. I think it's crazy. I think it's like almost like the worst fathering ever. Like, just to be a good father, that doesn't mean your children have to be doing exactly what you want them to do. It means that you're standing on your standards and your principles regardless of what they do, right? Mm-hmm. Not changing, you know what I'm saying, adjusting to what they do. You're sticking to your guns and being like, hey, they got their choices, but this is what I'm going to stand on, especially if you're below 18. Like you said, you ain't got no options. If you're in my household and you're below 18, have those same feelings when you're 18, 19 on your own. Okay.
I got to pay for it.
Yeah, but for me, the surgeries this kid had to have and do stuff like that, who paid for that? You know what I'm saying? Like the hair, the wig, the weaves, the dresses, and all this stuff. Like no. If you want to be this way, you're gonna be this way, but you're gonna be dressing like a dude. Now, if you want to on your own dime, on your own time, after you get grown and out on your own, if you want to do that, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing. When I saw that, I saw some stuff on social media, maybe on Instagram, that I was just like, bro, I'm tired of seeing this, bro.
I mean, like, and so my thing again, like, I gotta, and man, shout out to my boy Kendrick, who I work with. I call him my diabolical brother from another mother.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I saw him on like, you know, your people you may know on Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
when I clicked on the page, I'm looking. I'm like, is that who I work? Is that the guy I work with? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I had told him when we was back, I said, you know, I said you was diabolical. I said you be off the chain on your free time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I haven't asked him what the correct term is, but I know he does shows where if you saw him at the show, he don't look like he looked when he at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
He made a grown ass decision as a grown ass man to do what he do, and at the end of the day, he's still a human being. He's still a person.
Yeah.
I don't have to philosophically agree with his choices. I do, as the scripture says, am supposed to work to be at peace with all men, especially those who are the household of faith.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not, I'm supposed to be working to be at peace with you. The scripture tells you to love your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Is it your coworker? Your coworker, your neighbor, your own family members can be your neighbors.
Yeah.
Your neighbors are your neighbors. Your
Yep.
church members are your neighbors.
Yep.
The people in the marketplace are your people who you interact with, people who you encounter.
Mm-hmm.
That constitutes as a neighbor. So I don't have to agree with you. What is love? Love is patient, or rather, it suffers long. It's kind. It doesn't repay evil for evil.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so again, I can show you love without saying I'm co-signing it. Like, yes, I'm endorsing it.
Yeah.
Not how I move, but I love you as a person.
Right.
So even though I may not support everything you're doing, I support you.
Yeah.
Even though I may not believe in everything you're doing, I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
I see the best version of you that you can be.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to remember more than anything, you're not going to remember the disagreements or you're going to remember this person always treated me with respect and dignity. This person never made me feel less than. This person never tried to crack jokes at my expense or boost himself up to put me down.
Yeah.
And to your point, you can do that with your children and set a standard to where they respect. Just like we did in our parents' house. Like, our parents probably figured out that we was cussing.
Right.
We didn't do it in their house.
Right.
And one could say, but you're a human, that's your choice. But I respect.
Yeah.
I respect my mom and dad. Yes, I have a right to do it in my own space.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm in my house, when I'm on the podcast, when I'm recording something, you can't tell me not to cuss. If you catch me in my space where I'm at a barbecue something and you walk up and I ain't know you here, but when I come to your spot,
yeah,
when I'm with you and your friends or your people or your, you know, their first cousins and stuff like that, or my uncles and aunts and stuff like that, no, I'm not finna do that. I'm not finna exercise my right as an individual.
Right.
Well, I'm grown. Fuck y'all talking about. No, I respect y'all. And guess what? I have enough. I do enough on my own to where I can cuss it up as much as I want when I'm not around y'all. You see what I'm saying? Like it's certain conversations. Talking about no hoes around my mom and dad. Now I get with the bull. Oh man, these hoes, they for everybody.
Yeah.
I ain't finna have that conversation with not cause I'm not grown. I respect y'all. But that I was taught it's a stand. You conduct and behave yourself a certain way. And what I would say is, even again, like I said, shouting out my boy who I work with, you wouldn't necessarily know that about him unless you just knew him or you saw, because when he's at work, he conducts himself in a professional way that don't interfere with the work.
Right. Yep.
And he do it like, man, I promise you, no matter what job I was doing, hey, I'd hire him because that man come in and do a damn good job.
Yep.
Don't never complain about if he got to do this. He don't never complain about what he got to do. Now, like all of us, we may not want to do the extra sometimes, but
Right.
if he on this route, or you gonna be on this route, man, he go in there and he make it happen.
Yeah.
Don't never, and you would think, and it's some guys, well, you supposed to be this big, be complaining like all the time. But a guy that most people would make fun of, a clown, he'll work dog walk you, work circles around you. But like I said, now in his own space, he do what he do in his own space. But to your point, and as far as I know, we hadn't got in depth in that. But as far as I know, that was a decision he made as a grown man.
Yeah.
To where you understand ramifications and consequences and all, and this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna live with that. Cool. That wasn't a decision, as far as I know, that you made at 7 years old. That he made a grown man decision.
Yeah.
And to that point, like you said, you're right now. You don't really know what you want or what you like.
Right. You don't at all. You don't know what you want, especially like a kid. Like, that's why you got to train up a child the way they should go. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, they know what they feel. They think they know what they want, but that's not their job. They don't have the options that they need to have. See, nigga, if we give you an option for chicken and salmon, you can't get the shrimp because that's off the table. We didn't say you could have that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where, like now, like I said, marriage will teach you a lot, and raising kids will teach you a lot, because now, you know what I'm saying, you're seeing some of the stuff that your parents went through. And so now you can be like, dang, like, you have so much more respect for your parents for the stuff that we're going through now as parents now, and be like, we didn't factor in. All I knew was my pops was always there. He was always pouring into me. We didn't think the times he was coming home, didn't like his job, didn't like he was doing, and still was able to, pour into me and do certain things or say certain things, not knowing he came home either pissed off at mom or pissed off at the world, pissed off at whatever. And so we don't factor in those things. We just factor in that's pop, they're supposed to be there. I come home, dog, tired and stuff like that. The kids do not care. They come up, hey, what are you doing, Dad?
10.
Yeah, they be on 10. Hey, Dad, what you doing? I'm thinking like, give me a minute. Get out my face. You know what I'm saying? And so, but they don't think about that. They think that, okay, my dad is Superman. Building. You know what I'm saying? You're here. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's connect. Let me get on your back. Let's play. And I'm just like, bro, let me rest.
And then too, like with your pops, like, man, a lot of people don't understand the level, and I know you were there at one point, like with people that you had dated in college and stuff.
Yeah.
For a man to go, and I've been in this situation, like for a man to go and take on children that you didn't help create.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is that when they get grown, they can say, fuck you, you ain't my dad. Like,
right.
But to come and do that, and so like you said, coming home, like I got to clean up what this child doing. Yeah. And what I really want to do, I can't really do it as much to the level that I want to do it.
Right.
Because it's a line.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like how you said, so like with you, you already knew what you was finna get, because like, oh no, you came from me.
Right.
You finna get the business, but like it's like, I gotta. So I'm still gonna say something, but I can't say it the way I want to say it, because,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like when you, I mean, me, even I've been in that situation, where you're raising children that ain't yours, biologically. They yours because you claim them on your taxes because you feed them or because they're on your insurance.
Because you made that commitment.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And you taking care of them, but you know, they can say, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but to still be able to come and do that. So, again, but like I said, you know, for me growing up, my examples was a Prentice Brown, a Danny Morrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw guys, like, do it.
Yeah.
And unless they told you, you wouldn't have even known because they didn't act like this ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this my son, this my daughter. Like, that's the way they acted.
Right.
So then when you find out, like, oh, that ain't your dude. Like,
right.
you know, oh, you got another, like, for real. Yeah. But then, so you see, but they treat you like that. And so now, when you find yourself in that situation, I can only pull from my examples.
Right.
I only know one way to be. I know I had great examples. I had a great standard. So that's what I'm following. Yeah. You know, but like to your point, like I said, the kids don't be caring about your hard day at work. You got cussed out by your boss. You got demoralized. You got dehumanized. They done made racist jokes at your expense. You know what I'm saying? And then they dangle your job in front of you like, oh, you go on jump out of line, nigga, so we can. Yeah. Because we don't like that we having to pay you what we paying you anyway. Yeah. Even though it's peanuts, we don't even want to pay you the peanuts. Right. We rather pay you raisins. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But by law, we got to pay you the peanuts for this position. So,
yeah.
You know.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, you touched on that. Now, I think we got the rest of these kind of maybe some quickies with some of this stuff. I saw you put that on my old Des Bryant.
Oh yeah. Nick, kind of like we kind of similarly with just what we were just talking about. Yeah. But he encountered some controversy because he was saying that with the NFL spotlighting the thing on the Pride Month, that he didn't like because they were throwing it in kids' faces. And I think that's one of those things where we always say this on the show where two things can be true. We can show people that we're not oppressing you, that we're not gonna be at your door trying to set you on fire, murder you, or nothing like that. We can coexist without co-signing. Yeah. And again, I always feel like that if somebody is something, if somebody like look at it with serial killers, most of them they don't kill a person until they grown. Most of the time, prior to that, they're killing little squirrels and birds and stuff like that. And unless somebody get to them and talk to them, like they will become a serial killer when they become grown.
Escalate.
If you want to be, you feel that you're a man, you feel you trapped in a woman's body, or you a woman feel you trapped in a man, whatever the case may be. If that's the way you really feel, at 14, you're gonna feel the same way at 21. It's no amount of shock therapy or me holding your eyeballs open and you watching something on TV, your brainwashing. If that's how you really feel, if you don't have a renewed mind, you're going to go to that anyway. Yeah. But sometimes, and I mean, I guess I hate to reference him in this situation, but like with Kanye, sometimes when you watching stuff, it puts thoughts and images in your brain that you probably wouldn't have necessarily been thinking about if left to your own devices. So like he said, there's certain stuff that he tried because he saw certain things that he didn't know, he wasn't old enough to understand. And so he's like, we're going to try it out because I see it. I ain't even like kissing my brothers when I was like, kissing them on the cheek. Like, man, what you kissing me for? Right. So like, me putting I don't even eat hot dogs regular. You know what I'm saying? Like I be breaking my
Always they be piecing them up.
Nah, nigga, I eat a Circle B. I'm breaking the whole head. Like, shoot, like I been eating fruit in the morning. Like I took a banana to work. I'm breaking it. Like I'm breaking it piece by piece. I'm not.
You're not gonna do it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So like that part, I completely understand where he's coming from. And I don't like how and I'm an investor. The only reason I didn't put this as one because I really want to do some research. But Skylar Diggins, she recently went through a divorce, but she talked about how she went through a period where it was hard for her in the WNBA, but it was like she was getting a lot of flack because she was a heterosexual woman from women in the W that was lesbians.
Right.
And so now if it's supposed to be all inclusive mean everybody.
Yeah.
So that means, okay, you want me to respect you being a homosexual, lesbian, transgender, queer, curious, bisexual, whatever. You want me to be sensitive and tolerative to you, but then you don't want to you're looking at me funny because you're a woman who don't want women. It's like, okay, no, I respect y'all. Y'all, okay, you my homegirl. Yeah, y'all can go together, but I like dick.
Yeah.
But they're giving a woman who says that problems because it's like, oh, no, you need to be munching carpet like us.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if I'm around a bunch of gay men, it's like, no, okay, look, y'all can, you know what I'm saying, play hide the sausage. That's fine if that's what y'all want to do. But I like the cuckoo. Like, I'm straight.
Yeah.
But you giving me a hard time. But now, if I do that to you, oh my God, you're so intolerant. Okay, well, what are you being?
Mm-hmm. No, it's the same way. Like, I think that's one of the reasons Maya Moore kind of stopped prematurely, kind of how she did, because I don't know if she wrote a book. I think it wrote a book about it, talking about how, I think she said, about 60-70% of the W is, you know what I'm saying, either all the way that way or open to other sides and doing all that stuff. So it's to me, it's always a double standard to where you want us to be tolerable of this, but then if I flaunt my heterosexuality, now I'm spitting on your, you know what I'm saying, being homo, gay, lesbian, whatever that is. And so to what Des Brown was even saying, like, we know the stuff is being pushed to an extreme level. And to me, having kids, they pushing it everywhere. You put on Power Rangers on Netflix, within the first 10 seconds, I saw a woman kissing a woman or doing something like that. Like, so it's
on SpongeBob, Adventure Time.
It's everywhere.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
South Park. Like,
everywhere.
And don't get me wrong, like, we grew up watching, and then like we said this before on here, it just irks me that most of these people that's butthurt about this stuff, we grew up watching South Park, who offends everybody equally.
Yeah.
It don't matter what your faith, religion, creed, sex, whatever. Like, they disrespect everyone. We grew up watching that. We grew up watching Family Guy.
Yeah.
Who disrespects everybody equally. Now, The Simpsons wasn't as graphic as Family Guy, but they started off disrupting the system. I believe, like, even the first George Bush was, like, criticizing, like The Simpsons, like, oh, we need traditional American families, not families like The Simpsons. Like, that, like, he called them a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
So, like, the stuff we grew up watching, Robot Chicken, this stuff is disrespectful to everybody. But, man, a lot of these people, since they get grown, they got real sensitive and butthurt about everything.
Yep.
We don't have no sense of humor. Like In Living Color would not be able to exist today. Mad TV, when it first came out, would not be able to exist today.
Especially on network TV.
People talk about why Saturday Night Live has fell off. Saturday Night Live has fallen off because you can't say anything about anything anymore. So it's not funny.
No, they're too sensitive.
And then the stuff that they do make is like, what the hell? Like, this.
Yeah.
And the only stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you one of them, but they do one at the end of every year where they do a joke swap. And on the Weekend Update, it's Michael Che, who's a black guy, and Colin Jost, he's married to Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow, a white guy. And so they do a joke swap. And they write jokes. So it's like the black guy's writing jokes with the white guy that he got to read. And they've never seen the jokes before they're on live. So you don't know what you're going to be saying. So, like, Michael Che will write jokes for Colin, and he'll have to say some stuff, and it's like, it'll be like some slick racist stuff, and like Colin be like, oh my God, like I got to read this out, and then Colin will write something for Mike, and it'll be the same thing, And that'd be the only thing on the whole show that'd be funny. Because it's offensive. It make you look at yourself, it hurts feelings. That's the only part of the show. A lot of times it'd be funny. But that's a throwback to when that's what Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, like that's what that early Chappelle show back in the day, Mad TV, like that's what, and it wasn't mean spirited. It opened the conversation up because now we can laugh at each other's stuff we don't understand, and then that opens up for conversation. Well, why do you do it? Why do y'all think like that? Why do y'all do? And it wasn't based out of hate. But now we so overly sensitive.
Very.
And like you said, they pushing it so hard to where you can't even, you're not going to get any understanding or even empathy because you're trying to force feed it instead of just, let's just start off with, let's just respect each other.
Right.
Let's just treat each other right. That's it. Let's just treat each other right. Let's just start there. If you see me, don't cuss me out. You know what I'm saying? Like make a big show of it or whatever. If I say hello, just say hey back and keep it moving. We ain't got to stop and have a conversation. Let's just start there.
Yep. No, you're totally right on that, man. Like that's the whole thing. Like they have a whole month of it, but really, especially here in America, is more so even a lifestyle. They promote it for a month and like it gets heightened during that month, but it's literally a whole lifestyle because anytime after that month that you don't exude that, you know what I'm saying, you're in the news or you get canceled or you get something else kind of with that. So
and I mean as people of the faith, like I said, I stopped calling myself a Christian a couple of years ago, but as a believer in the Most High, we're not called to convert anybody. We are called to live our lives in such a way. We are called to tell people to follow me as I follow.
Yeah.
That's what we called to do. If we look at the example of the Messiah, if we look at Yahusha, it's like when he saw Zacchaeus was like, oh, I want to see this guy that they're talking about. But he lived his life in such a way that when he told Zacchaeus, hey, I'm coming over to your crib. We eating at your crib tonight, bro. Zacchaeus was like, oh, all these people that I done defrauded over the years, let me get some of this money back.
Yeah.
And he came and told, hey, guess what? Everybody who I got something from, I gave them 4 times what I stole from, what I got from them. I paid it back 4 times as much. He made people change. And he didn't say nothing to him. He didn't say, oh, you must change if you're going to kick it with me. And he really only told one person he had to change.
Yeah.
And the one person he told had to change couldn't do it. That was the rich young ruler. Give it up. This is your God. Give it up and follow me. That's the only thing that you lack. He said, you perfect. Give all of that up and come follow me. And that's the one person who couldn't do what he said do. But that's what we call to do. But a lot of times we go and this convert. Where does they do that at? No, you live your life in such a way that make people say, why you do that? JB, why do you do that?
Right.
Let me hang out with you and see why you, or when you walk in the room, people, and they start, oh, my bad, JB, I ain't mean to disrespect you, bro. Why? Because you conducting yourself in such a way. You ain't have to say nothing.
Right.
But we lost that. We think we got to go and I'm going to make you,
right,
because I'm here, you got to be. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to live. JB, how come you ain't? Man, everybody in here cheating on us. How come you ain't doing that, bro? Let me see what's up with you, because everybody, man, they some dogs up here, but you do different.
What's your perspective?
You see what I'm saying? And then
How
that's how we supposed to live our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we lost that. And so now, how can you really be impactful when you're trying to hold a gun to people's head? And going back to what I said earlier, they in their own space. They get the option in their own space.
Right. And that's going into a deeper thing, because I think me and Rod had a conversation, maybe even the part he did on the Preacher Man here, just we were talking about just I remember coming up is about winning souls and doing that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But then, to me, it's a line to what are you doing it for? Because I remember growing up, and that was like a badge of honor. Oh, I won 50 souls.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you ain't number one, but 2 souls this month. You know what I'm saying? And so now it becomes more of a effort thing of being like, oh snap, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? Do that like. But then it gets down to motive. What are you really doing it for?
And you can guilt trip people into conversion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely probably did that before. Just because, that's maybe some of the way you taught, the way you maybe interpreted it. But, it's a line, man. Because at the end of the day, can nobody draw anybody to the Spirit except the Spirit? You know what I'm saying? Like we can water, we can, you know what I'm saying, sow seeds. You know what I'm saying? But who makes it grow?
And even to go deeper than that, because a lot of times, I'm not gonna say we're not supposed to add nothing, but like we gotta use our common sense. Like when you talk about planting seed, and he kept it simple. Some plant, some water.
Yep.
He kept it simple, but in the process of growing stuff, oh wait, you need fertilizer. Some of us is just supposed to fertilize.
Mm-hmm.
You need sunlight.
Right.
Some of us just supposed to show the light.
Yeah.
Right.
Or be that example.
You see what I'm saying? Like I said, some of us, okay, you got to get the bugs. Some of us just supposed to keep the bugs away. But ultimately, he provides the increase.
Right.
So our job is when we encounter people, am I supposed to be a planter? Am I supposed to water? Am I supposed to sunlight? Am I supposed to get the bugs away? Am I supposed to till the soil a little bit?
And that's the thing, because it can be, if anything, just asking somebody how their morning is going, how their day is going. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so nobody ain't asked me that the whole week.
How your family doing? How your kids doing?
Yeah.
I heard your mom and dad was in the hospital, man. Y'all need anything? I just want you to know, man, I'm praying for them. Hopefully everything goes. And that's it. You can keep it moving.
Yeah. But to your point, it's like we think we gotta go hunt. We gotta slice it. We gotta cook it, and then we gotta serve it.
I heard your mom was sick. So now, if you was gonna go to heaven or hell right now, like, whoa, wait a minute, how you go from my mama being sick to like, we talking about heaven or hell? Like, like that. But that's like to your point. That's where a lot of it go.
Yeah.
Like, I heard your kid is really struggling with their reading. So now, if Jesus was to come back today, brother, like, whoa, like. You ain't gonna put me on no hooked on phonics or no. You got a sub, a teacher or something. Like we go, and then you wonder why people don't want to hear what you got to say. And it's like, it's an old saying that goes, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the Messiah, what did he do? He met people's needs.
Yeah.
Oh, this blind man. Oh, I see you. I heard you can't see. So if you was gonna go to hell, no. It's like, what do you want from me? Like, dude, if you say the word, we believe we'll be all right. Bet. And then after he showed them how much he cared, then he told them, "Go and sin no more." Yeah. And that was everybody with the lady they threw in front of. And again, we don't have no context. They threw him at his feet, and they said he fell down on the ground. Okay, well, if they threw her at his feet, like where did he fall at? I like to think that he fell right in front of her.
Yeah.
He shielded her.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, whichever one. And he didn't even look up at him. That's how much ball he said, man. He ain't even look up. He drawn in the ground. Whichever one of y'all ain't never done, then y'all go ahead and throw the first one. But if you're going to throw it at her, you got to throw it at me. And then one by one, they just dropped. Forget it. And then he looked up. He said, where everybody go? Where are your accusers at? Ain't nobody here? All right. Go and sin no more. And I can put money on it. She probably went and didn't do that thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what he was saying, whatever it was that led up to what you were doing, don't do that thing anymore. But she saw how much he cared. So now I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth because I know you care. And we lose that. We want to do the whole conversion thing. But you see me sitting over here pushing my car, you telling me about Jesus. And you ain't trying to fill my gas tank up or change my tire or help me jump off. You trying to talk to me. And not saying that sometimes We got to be led by Holy Spirit sometimes.
Right.
That's what it is.
And that can happen.
But
Yeah,
man, sometimes we go in, dude. I just need a boost off.
Right.
I just need some antifreeze.
Right. It's just like sometimes where people be like, you know, you talk about a dude, you out there, it's 30 degrees out there cold, and you just like, man, you know, you see the dude out there shivering and you preaching the gospel. Like, no, actually give this man a coat first. Go to Burlington Coat Factory, get this man one of the coats just 2 for 30, you know what I'm saying, to get him a coat. And then now maybe then his heart would be more conditioned to, you know what I'm saying, listening to stuff. But sometimes we can be so enamored on just being like, you know, hit the pavement, hit the pound. And I always put up, I know Rod always talk about sometimes with my dad, he told, you know, Rod sometimes, him and Marco, just like, it's a walk. You know what I'm saying? You gotta walk. You know what I'm saying? You can be so much full of zeal and all this stuff, but it's a walk. And so a lot of people burn out because they just, you know, no, Jesus, which is fine, but then it's like, bro, it's a walk because the next day you gonna have to live life. You gonna still be in the same marriage. You gonna still have to raise your same kids. You gonna have to go into this cold world. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to be able to, like, you gotta walk this thing out. It ain't a sprint.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. You know what I'm saying?
That remind me of this old Patrice O'Neal joke. He said, like, man, he said, I remember, he said, man, y'all know I'm diabetic. I was trying to lose weight, trying to change my life. He said, man, I was exercising. I'm trying to change my life. And he said, then I got through. He said, man, I ain't lose no weight. He said, I ain't even see a lump or nothing move. It's like, I got to do this again tomorrow? Yep. Like, I got to do it all over again tomorrow? Like, yep. That's the thing. Like you said, we burn ourselves out running this marathon. And to your dad's point, no, you got to get up and do it again tomorrow. Yeah, it's got to be not. Habits are formed from consistency. Mm-hmm. When you have consistent habits, that develops character. And a lot of us don't have any character. Yeah. We are characters, right? But we don't have no character.
Yeah, it's a difference.
Because, to your point, I'm burned out. So what I was doing yesterday, I'm not going to do today because I'm burnt out. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know, like how you talked about, you come home, I'm pissed off at the job, I'm pissed off at the spouse, I'm pissed off at the other kids, I'm pissed off at this person, that person, so I ain't going to do what I'm doing today because I'm mad. Mm-hmm. No, it's your character. Yeah. So even though they piss me off, I'm still going to treat you right. Even though your significant other, they made me, I'm still going to do right. The other kids, I'm still going to do right. Oh, I ain't got no money. Man, I'm looking out to pay. I'm like, man, I can't rub 2 nickels together and get a dime. Yeah. But I'm still going to be the same person. Why? Because I got character. And to your dad's point, it's a walk, and character is developed through you walking that process out every day.
Yeah. It's a walk, man. Definitely a walk. Now, anything new that you've seen, kind of winding down with it quickly?
So what you think about so I sent you the picture of like Pusha T saying basically he's done with Kanye. Yeah, and then Ye had it was another thing behind it where Ye had tweeted on X that he missed him and Pusha T's friendship. Yeah, and that was kind of what prompted Pusha's comments. Yeah. Towards Ye, which he said something like, I don't see him as a man anymore or something like that. Yeah, I'm reading it now. He said, I don't think he's a man. And that's why they can't build with each other no more. So, for me, like I've said in the last couple of weeks, man, Kanye he's not accountable to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So when he's saying things that you should probably only say to your wife. Or you should only say it in the comfort of your own home. But he's saying it on the internet. He's saying it out loud. And he's paying for it. Because as much of a loose cannon as Kanye has been, everybody kind of used to him doing that. But even this past 6 months or so, he's been going even more off the hinges
talking about Jay, talking about Beyonce, talking about everything else, and really destroying the friendships that he had. You know what I'm saying? The people actually that probably held him probably more accountable. People like a Pusha T, people like a Pharrell. You know what I'm saying? Even he had his on and off stuff with Jay-Z and stuff like
Right.
that. So I do think it's unfortunate, and even with Pusha T, I put him on a thumbnail too because I did want to mention, the Clipse about to come out with another album too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But even back to the Kanye part, I can't blame him, man. Kanye is off the rails, but Pusha T sound like he's being a true friend
Mm-hmm.
because he's saying like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like you on this other stuff now. I don't even see you as a man. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, that's friendship, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't his friend, he would just be like, "Oh man, that's just Ye being Ye."
Right.
Da 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 da. Be like, "Nah, he acting like a hoe right now." You know what I'm saying? He not a man. So salute to Pusha T to tell him the truth about Ye. And so maybe if Kanye really wants that to build back that relationship, he's gonna have to, change his approach to some things. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what happens in accountability in relationships. Because, like, if me and you brothers, we have our bouts, we have our stuff, but we like, look, for me to get back, get back with Rag, I gotta posture myself in a certain way.
Right.
I have to come to agreement to something to where we can connect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that will help. You know what I'm saying? Help posture his heart with that. And so maybe, hopefully, people that the way Kanye acting, everybody needs to just turn the other way and just be like, I can't fool with you. I don't know what you own. I don't like you. Until you make some changes. And so either that person is going to change or they're going to go deeper back into what they were in. So I say I salute Pusha.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Like, so I met their real names are Terrence and Gene, but Pusha and Malice back. It was the I believe it was the K97 Summer Jam here, and at the time, I don't know if it was the number 1 song, but I know it was like a top 10 song. They like this when they first came out, had Grinding Out, and got to open up for them. Like I talked about this before, Pastor Troy, 3LW, Styles P,
LW,
Gangsta
yeah.
Black. Like we, got to be at an event where I got to perform on the same stage that all those cats got to perform on,
Yeah.
and man, those dudes are so humble. They had such years, right? Like that. Like the Clipse is actually short for. I believe it's called that group's called the Eclipse or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
Like, and they just shortened it to the Clipse,
Yep.
but they had been rapping for years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you know what I'm saying? Like they had been having money from moving around the street for years before that. So now you're doing something different, and then now you're reaching another level. So like you've been that guy. I'm just happy to be in the building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, but man, I tell them, oh man, I love your work. So like, keep in mind, me, I'm a hip hop head, so like I know about their song, The Funeral, and all. Like I'm telling them, man, oh man, I love this song, man. And they kind of like, oh, for real, like, man, you up on that? Like, man, that's what's up, man. Appreciate that,
Door man.
man. But some humble guys, right?
Yeah.
And so for somebody who moves with that level of humility, to your point, being a real friend, a lot of times we just want yes men. We want people that's only gonna tell us when we're doing something good. They're only gonna pat us on the back when we winning. When we get out of line or out of pocket, we not gonna say, hey man, you fucking up. Like, oh, don't tell me. No, we ain't gonna say nothing. No, I'm gonna let them do what they doing.
Yeah.
And so just from my, again, now other people might have other interactions. I can only speak of my experience.
Right. Yeah.
But they didn't have a reason to be nice. They could have been assholes if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And they wouldn't. And so when I hear that, I don't look at somebody who's like, oh, this, like, I look at it like how you said, like, that's a true friend. And you know, I'm definitely not a Kanye guy, but at the same time, I just, I hope that whatever piece he's looking for, that he finds it.
It's tough because it just seemed that he continued to go deeper and deeper into the abyss to what he's doing. He married the Kim Kardashian lookalike. I don't know who she is, but they look like they can be kinfolk. You know, I think he's starting a porn platform or a hub or something like that. Whatever he's doing. So it's just it's sad. You know, I think you called it for for some years talking about kind of with Kanye, but you got to call a spade, and so hopefully he gets the help that he needs. But it's like you said, I was talking about billionaires earlier. When you're a billionaire, shoot, who you listening to?
Your God is your money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because who are you listening to? You have that much money. You like the love. The love of it is the root of it, because you don't. Money can buy you pretty much whatever you want. You know what I mean? So that's why it's just like what I think Unc Shay always say, like, money only makes you more of who you really are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily change you, but it's just like, now, oh, I got more money to spend on these girls. I got more money to, make somebody do this and do that. And so, in the world that we living in now, anybody to do anything for 10K, for 5K, for 100K. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I know people who will kill you for 2, not K, 100.
Yeah, 200. Yep.
I mean, and you know what? Like, you to that point, like, I got a homeboy. You know my homeboy, and my best friend Stefan. Like, dude, I always been a giver. But like when he didn't have a lot to give, he was always a giver. But then when he's been in a position where he got some more money, he was more of who he was. If he was like, if we was out somewhere and he's like, man, you good before. Now it's like we go somewhere, he go, man, let me get what you drink. Like, oh, it goes out something like, oh, and he already got it. I ain't like, oh, you got it. You want me to get not? He don't even ask. You want me to? No, he like, let me get it. You good? What you like?
What you want? Yeah.
It made him more who he was. And so, to the same token, it's a lot of people, like how you said, money change. When I'm low, I got to be nice, cause I need you. I need you to give me a ride. I need you to give me. You put me in rooms with a bunch of people I don't know. I need your studio time. I need whatever you have. I need. So I'm gonna be humble. But once I get my own, now, and I like how you used when you were talking about the children of Israel. Look at Nebuchadnezzar. He forgot how he got where he was at.
Yeah.
He was like, look at me. Look at what I've done. Look at what I've just said. God literally humiliated him. Had him in the field where his hair was growing out. He couldn't get it, and he had to be eating grass and bugs and stuff. Because he thought he was God.
Yeah. Because he had so much stuff, so much power, influence.
And that first time he lost his stuff, that's where he was at.
Yeah.
So then he goes back, oh, okay, I'm all about, Jesus is king and da-da-da-da. But then you get back up. So now, what's that father going to look like the next time? And that's why when I said, like, I'm scared, because, okay, you had a little humiliation where you went from, like, a billionaire to, like, a 800 millionaire. Wow. And then you got right back up there, but, like, what's that next father going to look like? And I'm not praying for it. I don't want it to happen. But I'm like, dude, you just keep doubling down on the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right. Now, anything new with the Diddy shenanigans? Like, it's.
I mean, man, like so they got a Punisher on there.
I saw that.
Like again, and I see people that's like, oh, I just don't like this culture that we're in, where we constantly make excuses for people and they bullshit.
Yep. I don't like it either.
Cause it was something that came out in the testimony where somebody was like, just leave him. And she was like, well, Jay-Z's already married. Who am I going to be with?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That shows you the mentality. It's okay for me to walk into a situation knowing that somebody who I wouldn't give the time of day to if they was just a regular person. But because they're in a position and they got influence and wealth that I did not help them attain at all, but I'm going to use them. Because guess what? I know what they want from me, and I'm willing to do whatever I can to get it. How is it coercion when I'm using you just like you using me? And again, I go back to that, we love the old school song, Bill Withers, keep on using me until you use me up. And he says at the end of the song, he said, keep on using me because I sure am using you for those things you do. And we forget about that. That's at the very end of the song. Yeah. Play it to the end. And he said, because I sure am using you for those things you do. Yeah. So, and it's crazy because he's speaking from a man's perspective, but he's like, everybody tell him, like, dude, why are you, she's just using you. She's just using you for your money. She's using you for what you got. And he's like, oh, don't worry. I'm using her too. That's this situation. Ain't no victims here. Yeah. The only problem is that what you was trying to get from him, you didn't get. Let one of them singles had popped off. Let an album had popped off. Let that lead into you getting an acting career. You wouldn't have had nothing to say. Right. Yeah. Because it would have worked out. But when it don't work, and that ain't no different from we get together, we decide we're going to rob a bank, and I get away with it, and I invest my money and everything like that, and, I make all this money, and then you go, you blow yours, and you mess around and be talking to somebody, and they go tell the police, like, hey, you remember that bank robbery a few years back? Man, I got the dude who did it. Now you finna go dime me out. Yeah. Because you messed up. Right. And that is the climate and the culture that we're in. And so now she's and the age keep going back. She was 22 when she got with Diddy. And that's, she was 18. No, she was a grown woman.
Yeah, she was grown.
She could drink.
Yeah, she was grown.
And again, when it's convenient, women mature faster than men. So you're in a situation like, she was so young. But I thought y'all mature faster than men. Mm-hmm. I thought y'all... Oh, okay, but when that happened, now she's so young. Right. And so, like, to that point, I mean, like I said, I just get sick of them making excuses. I don't make no excuses for Diddy. Never thought he was a good person. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not making excuses for Cass either.
Right. Because I look at it both ways, because even with the whole Diddy thing, even with some of the stuff we were talking about earlier, like, whether he's guilty, whatever this or not, this is probably some karma of a lot of other stuff that he did that is not being presented, and that we have heard about, rumors, know the stuff about Pac, know the stuff about Biggie, know the other stuff that they've had, the fights, like this is like, okay, Diddy, you may be innocent from this particular thing that we're talking about in court, but nigga, you in this situation because decades you've been doing stuff that's unrighteous.
When that shooting happened in the club, you the one that shot the lady in the face, not Shine.
Not Shine, yep. See what I'm saying? Like, and stuff like that. So it's not like, okay, you got caught, just like, we think about different about OJ. But OJ, he didn't actually go to prison for, you know what I'm saying, what killing the Golden.
Right. Yeah, the time he did wasn't for what, it didn't fit what he did.
No, it didn't. You know what I'm saying? But everything else behind that, because society put him in prison. Society put him in his own little bubble to where it's like, we can't fool with you no more. And it seems like they're trying to do that to Diddy now, to where even if he goes free, it ain't going to be the same no more out here in these streets out here for him anymore. Unless he goes really anywhere in the world. I would say he can go over to Europe, but like, this is worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Like now, like the stuff, the trial and stuff. It's obviously big in America, but worldwide, he's never going to be treated the same. So even if he does get free, he can't be the Diddy that he's used to being the last 30 years, because society has marked him as being a lame. Lame as in, I can't fool with you no more. I can't be seen in public with you anymore. I can't be on the front row of the Knicks game beside you anymore, or anything like that.
And like the clip I sent you, even Judge Mathis is like no street guys was ever afraid of him.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Like so you intimidate people who don't know no better.
Yep.
Because again, going back like when we talking about the greed and the money, most people they're afraid of your wealth and your influence. And so now if you come off with this, like you the gorilla versus 100 men.
Yep.
When in reality, like if you know anything about a gorilla, like after he do his first burst, that nigga down for 6 minutes. His stamina is gone. Like that's how the dinosaurs became like. So like this dude is doing all this rah stuff. He try that with certain people.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
You ain't trying that with everybody. It's just certain people you're not. All of these antics, like how come he ain't never had no incidents with Jay Prince?
Of course.
Cause that's a real street dude.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's other. How come you never had no incidents with Uncle Luke? And we know you done been down to Miami.
Right.
But Uncle Luke, and keep in mind, Uncle Luke make all the freaky songs, but Uncle Luke was really in the streets.
Life. Yeah.
You never had no incidents with him. Trick Dad, you never had no incidents with like that camp. You never had no incident with them.
50.
Hell, the Terror Squad.
Oh yeah. People be saying, but Fat Joe is such in the streets, like.
And it wasn't just him, but like the people he had with him.
Yeah.
Like they wasn't fucking with Pun.
Yep.
They wasn't fucking with Cuban Link.
Yep.
Like them dudes that was with Terror Squad, like they had some straight goons with them.
Yeah.
So like you only have incidents with like the UCLA football coach.
Right.
Like you had
Steve Stout. Remember that thing was Steve Stout? Yeah. Yeah.
So. But you ain't never like a dude that's really like, man, fuck this money, fuck this whatever. I'm whooping your ass. Like I said, man, it's just I am just very disappointed in him. Not surprised though, but like I said, at the same time, I'm also not willing to say that somebody's a victim who constantly, number one, constantly put themselves in the situation. Number two, you went into the situation wanting to use and manipulate a person. Because again, if it goes well, we ain't even having this conversation. It didn't work, so now you're a victim. Now you're scarred like that. Come on, miss me with that. And it ain't got no, that's a black one. Like, no, it ain't about that. It's your motive was wrong. He didn't pluck you out of some church where you was singing in the choir or whatever. You was out here, you left your man to get with him. Like it happens all the time. Like women will leave a regular nigga for a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you driving a Cadillac, but he driving a Bentley. So I'm going to go with the nigga driving the Bentley. Like that shit happen all the time. We watch the movies all the time. Hell, it's happened to some of us.
Yeah.
But then now, like on what's that movie, the Tyler Perry joint, the Confessions of a Marriage Counselor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but then when you get age from the nigga, then now you're a victim. Yeah. But you had a whole hood. You was good. Yeah. But you wanted to use this guy for what he had and how he made you feel. Yeah, okay, he flirted with you, but you had a choice. Mm-hmm. You chose, this is more exciting. But then, now you're in a fucked up situation. Now you're a victim.
That movie a whole lesson. I think, we talked about that.
You're a fucking acrimony.
Yeah.
You had the man.
Yeah.
You let him go. And then he reimbursed you.
Yeah.
But you still feel like, no, you owe me. No, he paid you back what he owes you.
You living my life, what she
and
said.
Then some.
Yeah. She paid him double. She paid him double.
Really, like what I want to say, he only owed her like $1 million.
Yeah.
He gave her 10.
Yeah.
But on top of the 10, if you remember, when he brought her the flowers, he gave her the keys. It was some car keys on the keys.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't driving, because the car she drove up in, like, dang, when she started driving that car, he gave her a car.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention. Go back and watch. He gave her a car, and then he bought the house back.
Yeah, her house. Yeah, originally. Yeah.
So I gave you $10 million. I bought the house back, and I gave you a new car, and you got 2 dozen roses off GP.
Yeah.
$10 million tax free. You got your house, got a new car, and you got a bunch of pretty flowers to put in the house when you go back.
Yeah.
But now you mad because you let your sisters gas your head up.
That's exactly what happened.
But that's the same thing. When it don't work, now I'm a victim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only thing. So I guess the last thing I put this on there, like, and it's your favorite, Gabrielle Union. But it made me think about it because I've had this happen to me in my life before. Like, when do you block somebody? And I mean, we ain't got to go in deep with that, but like she was saying, like when they irritate you. Like, I'm one, I don't even, and I would tell people, like, you don't even have to take my number down. If you're not going to respond to me texting you or me calling you, like, hey, nice to meet you, keep it pushing.
Right.
Because if I get your number, I'm going to actually put forth the energy to contact you. Yeah. But don't give me your number if you have no intention of responding or getting back with me. Like, we can just speak and keep it moving. I personally don't ever block anybody. Because, like I said, it's money attached to my phone, whether it's work or whatever. Yeah. I ain't changing my number. I ain't blocking nobody. She said when somebody irritate her, I just don't answer the phone.
Yeah. That sounds more so like a woman thing. Like, for me, blocking has never been my thing. Honestly, I just figured out how to do it maybe like a year or two ago on my phone, just for telemarketers, people calling, try to sell the house and stuff like that. But, I'm thinking you're talking about social media. Even on that, on social media, I can see how celebrities can block people because they constantly irritate and saying some disrespectful stuff or something like that. Right. But other than that, like...
well, then this is somebody who had her number, though. So this ain't just a regular person. So this got to be somebody you know.
Yeah, like I got numbers in my phone today. Probably a couple people I don't fool with, but I just still got them in my phone. Mm-hmm. But I ain't never blocked them. You know what I'm saying? So for me to block somebody, I just wouldn't probably block somebody. I just probably delete their number.
I mean, and I don't delete numbers because some people are like me. They don't never change their number.
Yeah. Me the same. Yeah.
And I'm not changing mine. And to your point, you're right. It's not really. I don't know men who block people too much. Like I said, if it's just that bad, I just won't answer the phone at all. For me to even delete you or whatever, like, we really have to have like a real live falling out. Right. Because even people, like you said, I don't fool with. Some people I don't fool with. It's not a bad thing. Like, it's just our interests don't align no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody moved to a different state. It's hard to get in touch with. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really talk no more. Or somebody, you got a different job. We don't work together no more. Mm-hmm. Go to different churches. Or somebody get married and they a family man. You still out in the streets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we cool when we see each other. Like, oh, you still my guy, but like, we can't be because I'm over here and you over here. But blocking, that point. To that point, I feel like that's more of a thing that women do.
Yeah, it's a female thing, I think. Yeah, mostly.
But I have been because I've been on the recipient of times where I've given people my number or people have given me their number, and then like we might text back a couple times, and you know me, like I am not a texter. No. But okay, I'm gonna humor you, but then I'm like, okay, why the fuck did you get my number? Right. Because I did not need that to take space up in my phone. Like, that did not have to take up gigs out of my phone or megabytes out of my phone, saving your number and sending them text messages. We could have just spoke and kept it moving. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I guess this is a new thing now where women be afraid to not give a guy their number or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, so they just go and give you the number anyway. But I don't know. That's weird.
Nah, the whole blocking out thing. Like I said, I can't say men don't do it, but from my experience, it's mostly women. When they get emotional and don't want to talk to you or something for a moment, you'll get blocked, and then but it's not in the conversation to me. I wouldn't. Yeah, I just delete somebody. Blocking somebody, like I told you, Ryan Clark blocked me on X for whatever reason. I still don't remember what I said or whatever.
And so now you taking it personally. You don't fool with him no more.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize you might have said something that might have triggered him, but you take it personally because he blocked you.
He blocked
because you was hot.
He blocked me for whatever reason, but Ryan Clark may be a politician here soon within the next 5 years or something like that. The way the pivot has been pivoting, you know what I'm saying? He's very Obama-ish. He's very Obama-ish now.
I mean, I ain't again. It's times where I think he do too much, but I will say
he make good points.
I've seen him apologize to people, whether it's because he had a gun in his head or somebody talked some sense into him and he look at it from another perspective and go do it. So a man that can say I was wrong in this situation or I shouldn't have did that, I'll never have an issue with. But to your point, how you talked about blocking telemarketing, I'm telling you, I'm gonna give y'all the cheat code. So when y'all get that number and they call you, and it's a number you don't, or they trying to sell you something, when you answer the phone, I'm gonna show you. You see them, they calling. Okay, when you answer the phone, instead of saying can I speak to James? Where James at? I need to speak to James. You put James on the phone, so you're acting like you called them. When you do that, they're gonna hang up. They're not gonna call back. I'll give you another one. They call. Oh yes, we would like to buy. We're interested in the property. You say, oh, I am so glad y'all call. Oh, I'm so glad y'all call. I am very interested in selling for $10 million. Hello. Where did y'all go? They're not gonna sell. They're not interested because they're gonna try to hit you with like a 300, 400, 500. No, fuck that. Get at least $7 million. I guarantee you they're gonna hang the phone up.
Yep.
The other one, if you know how to speak another language and they call, hello, I would like to, hola, ¿cómo está? Los bibliotecas, los papas fritas. Like, okay, now again, I know some words in Spanish. I don't know how to construct the sentences properly, but I know what the words are. But I would just do that, and they hang up the phone. Now, if they say, hold on, and they put somebody on who speaks Spanish, I will start speaking in French. Now, again, don't know French. I know some words, but I know enough to get by. Yeah. They hang the phone up. Yeah. And they stop calling. Yeah. I'm not finna take the time to be trying to block nobody. Yeah. I'm just finna act like I called you. I'm finna start speaking in Spanish. Or I'm finna say I'm selling my house for $10 million. You know what I'm saying? Or you do, what's the nephew Tommy off the Steve Harvey show? Yeah. You like, oh, so you the nigga sleeping with my girl. Yeah, I've been waiting on your ass to call. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sitting right outside your house right now. When you do that, guess what? They hanging the phone up. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't do the one where you say you sitting outside their house and doing all that when you're at work. Like, that's a bad look. That'll bring some controversy. But, like, you acting like you called them and speaking in Spanish, selling your house for $10 million, you can do those anywhere. That's the cheat code. That's why they don't call my phone no more.
Yeah, they be hitting my line, man. But man, we this been good, man. So it's been a lot been said, a lot been going on. But y'all already know what it is. Until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
Most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow. Yeah, you gotta do that though, man. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them you call them. That work every time.
One time I just picked up the phone to see what they gonna keep on talking.